Hi there. We've got six masters coming to you tonight. I'm Deb, this is Raven, and he's sitting there probably thinking, oh my god, can I just get a different caster, for goodness sake. Raven, that was a pretty good game. We got one more tonight. How you feeling?
I feel pretty good. Look, that first series was pretty strong from Elevate. Finally seeing them return to some form after a rough week last week. And Kanga continuing their rough form. A bit of it feels bad for them. But look, I'm getting very excited for this next series because I feel like we might be in for another banger.
Definitely. And one redeeming factor every time we get to watch Kanga, even if they don't perform so well, we get to chat to Spruce, and that's always a highlight of my week. Rainbow 6 ANZ are other social channels you want to be aware of. Tonight, every night, we've got a poll vote, which we're going to show you in a few minutes. So if you want to get your vote in on who's going to win out of Ferox and Wildcard, make sure you go and do that now. Otherwise, you're going to miss your chance for the night. So Ferox versus Wildcard, they're the match on tonight. It's another kind of David and Goliath, I guess we could use that term, matchup here tonight with Wildcard, alumni from the 6th Invitational Season 10 Pro League Finals. Ferox, they actually do got some teams there that have been to a few LAN events, credit to them, but not very much on the same caliber. So potential here for an upset, potential for the pattern to continue.
Yeah, and the thing with Ferox is that they have had some roster changes, so things really aren't the same for them, and that is going to have some issues and limitations in terms of things like their strategies and their map pool, which felt like was a bit of an issue for them last week in their game. But last time these guys met, Ferox actually came out on top. They had a 7-5 on Coastline, and then a 6-6 on Cafe, but that was back when Wildcard had some real big issues.
Yeah, and that's a really good point to reference that previous game, because we got a head-to-head result from last season of Pro League. As you said, Ferox came out on top, despite me hyping up Wildcard here. This is quite a different Ferox to the one we're used to. Shade and Warden are the guys who have been here for such a long time. These guys have been Pro League since the very first season of Pro League, if I'm not wrong. But these other guys, actually Todd's been around since the very first season of Pro League, but he's been playing for all kinds of other teams. He played for that Elevate roster, he's played for quite a few others, and now he's landed here. Sushi also had been on this roster a little bit, but Deptra is also quite new, so it's a really bit of a question of how these guys gonna work with that new roster.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a matter of time for them to grind into some synergy, but they did have a good map last week where they got a victory, and it looked like they were struggling a bit on Clubhouse, but they managed to get a 7-3 result, which is actually pretty strong considering they are grinding in this new lineup.
And against Knights as well, a good team. Let's have a look at their opponent. It is Wildcard. These guys, we had a lot of question marks leading up to 6 Invitational and after 6 Invitational. These guys hit a new low and unfortunately didn't manage to win a map at the SI and really stumbled during their Pro League run, but they made some roster changes. They brought on Pat from previously Kanga and Geo previously from, Elevate. He played on Elevate, yeah. I was like, yeah, okay. Elevate. He played for Elevate, and both of these players have really helped this team kind of elevate, get to that next level. Oh my god, I just said elevate. God, that was an accident. Please just take it away.
Nice one, James.
Oh gosh, I'm just gonna sit here quietly.
Your point was good though. Pat and Geo have actually had a really big impact for Wildcard. They just changed their playstyle a bit, and one note that I have here is that Wildcard struggled for so long about a really slow, called it a slow, thorough attack, but I would really put emphasis on slow because for a long time, multiple seasons, they were the ones executing in the final 15 seconds. And that was really a big Achilles heel for them. So now bringing Pat and Geo in, they've brought fresh new IGL skills as well as just a bit more pace and aggression. And I think that's just helped their attacks a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in this matchup, Wildcard versus Ferox, a lot of old players, but like we were saying, bit of new blood as well. I mean, Geo's no stranger to competitive, and Pat's been in for a little while as well. We've got players like Sushi, Detro, who are still kind of making their way in. And yet we've got these guys who have been here since forever, like Todd and Warden as well. So I really like this. A mix of old blood, mix of new blood as well. But let's talk about that head-to-head rating that we had from the previous match in the Pro League. So between these guys, it was... That was actually quite a while ago. It was on the 22nd of January. So, we are talking quite a while back. It was when Wildcard had that previous roster, same for Ferox. But as you mentioned, Ferox actually came ahead of that.
Yeah, and they played quite well in that series, and something that really plagued Wildcard, especially with their attacks, was they were just constantly getting flanked. I think that really highlighted some of the issues they were having with their old lineup, and just again, Ferox's playstyle is very much like that. One of those players in particular is Shade, the other is Warden, and they're the two players that have persisted from that old lineup to the current one.
Well, let's see where we'll end up. We might not be the Cafe and Coastline that we saw last time these two teams went head-to-head, but how we do this, we got the two bans, one per team, and then one pick per team as well. This is a best-of-2 series. Not every map gets picked or banned, so just get these two bans, Coastline taken out of the way for Ferox. They did lose that last week to Knights, and Wildcard banning Border, that's just like, they just don't play Border, it's their insta-ban. So they play all the other 6 maps, just not Border.
Yep, definitely been a very persistent insta-ban for them for quite a while. And Ferox banning Coastline, I think, isn't just playing into the fact they had a tough week last week. Wildcard have actually been quite good on Coastline before. So I think that's a smart ban from them and helps narrow things down just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, with that Coastline ban, though, I will say the most recent time Wildcard played Coast in an official, it was against Fnatic, and they lost it 7-4. The time before that was when these two teams clashed back in January, and Ferox did win that 7-5. So maybe Ferox are just accounting for the fact that they're not quite on top of their game with Coastline and expecting that Wildcard would have made improvements since those previous results. Well, let's rake on through the picks now. Each team gets one pick. Ferox for Clubhouse, Wildcard for Consulate.
Yeah, Ferox won Clubhouse last week, and that was actually a 7-3 against Knights. We referenced it earlier, so maybe just feeling that that is their comfort at the moment. I highlighted that maybe they are going to be struggling from a limited map pool because of how their roster has changed so dramatically. There's only so much you can prep in the time that you've had it, and I mean Todd in particular, he joined the day after the open calls finished for 6 Masters, which was a week or 2 before it started, so that's not much time at all to really bring him up to speed.
Yeah, and Todd was playing in those open qualifiers for a team that didn't qualify called Yura, who made it all the way to that grand final but fell short to LFO, who ended up making it through. So, Todd has been busy, but not necessarily practicing with these guys for a long time. So, our maps for tonight are going to be, pardon me, I just clicked on the wrong thing again. Got Clubhouse and Consulate. So, Clubhouse, we were saying, looking at Wildcard on that map, I actually got that as quite a strong map for them. They 7-4'd Sinister just last week. They had also beaten Fnatic back in March, which wasn't end of March, not that long ago, just a bit over a month ago. That's some pretty strong results to field, and this is Ferox's pick, remember?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting map on how that balances out. You're right, I've definitely got that down. It's a pretty good map for them as well. We've seen Consulate once already tonight, so we'll get to see it again, see what is different. But look, I think if Ferox are going to be able to get Wildcard on either of these maps, it's probably going to be their map pick. They looked quite good on Clubhouse last week against Knights, and the Knights have also been an okay team at Clubhouse. So I think that shows that they do have some strength there.
It definitely shows a lot of confidence from Ferox deciding to go with the map they know Wildcard are good at. Let's spin up the poll vote and see what you guys reckon about this game. Wow, that's a lot closer than I was expecting. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, me too. If anything, I thought maybe there might have been a little bit more into the draw, but no, Wildcard heavily favored. They showed strongly last week against an informed Sinister. That's really important. And they're a well-known team. They were at 6 Invitational. You pointed that out at the start of the night. So very well recognized brand there. And their roster has started moving towards some strengths that we would have expected from them since the Tokoname finals last year.
Yeah, and look, to be honest here, I've got to go with Wildcard for my personal guess of who I think is going to win this game. I'm really hoping that Ferox has something to show for us on Clubhouse, though, because I'm going to reiterate that point. Like, Wildcard have not lost this map since, well, as far as I went back. I didn't check Invitational results, but they haven't lost it in last season of Pro League, and they haven't lost it so far in 6 Masters. So this is comfy ground for Wildcard to be going to, and they put up some good results against good teams like Sinister and Fnatic. So it does make me a bit scared for Ferox, but they're the ones who have the opportunity here to make a pulse and an impact in this series and come out strong against one of the favorites here from the Oceanic region. It's Ferox versus Wildcard on Ferox's map pick. It's Clubhouse.
It is Clubhouse. Pretty popular map here in ANZ, so a lot of the teams do have some kind of depth on this in their map pool. See how these bans play out. Traditionally see Thatcher, Maverick, potentially the Ying if they don't want to use it. There it is. Looking to not deal with it, I guess, is more of the way to phrase these Ying bans. I don't believe that it's more so how she can clear utility.
I feel like it's, hey, we don't actually want to ban anything specific on attack, but we're probably not going to use the Ying, so let's just ban it.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, Habana ban actually. So that means that both Thatcher and Maverick are available for Clubhouse. A bit different there. Ferox maybe targeting something in particular.
Yeah, just
hands out.
I'm actually going to go back and just take a squiz at Wikipedia and see whether Ferox has banned the Habana on Clubhouse before, because to be honest, I don't actually remember seeing this operator ban. It's an unusual one. It's so common to see that Thatcher or Maverick banned here. And like, I mean, if Wildcard's going into this and not expecting to have that Hibana in their toolkit, this might take a little bit extra time for them to kind of adapt and really figure out what they want to do in terms of the operator composition, and it might present them some problems, particularly on getting those hatches.
Absolutely. Ferox starting out on the attack here. Wildcard are going to go down to Church. Looks like they're going to be employing the potential SSG roam. They've got the classic signs of that with the castle and the Mozzie. So if they are going to stick that roam, then I mean that means Ferox are going to have the tough decision of deciding whether to really hard push that or attempt some kind of dodge, which can be quite risky given that the roam can collapse back on top of you. Ethan 6 picking onto the mute as well to combo with the Mozzie, and the fact that Vigil also makes droning hard is really going to make that roam clear very tough.
Your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, this is just that classic SSG roam that we're used to seeing. Good entry denial as well from Geo with that Legion to kind of prevent the rush. So, like you were saying, so much information denial. Wildcard will really be sculpting this map to be their own. It's going to be challenging for Furo to deal with that. No Jackal. It's not picked a lot in comp. We did see it a few rounds previously by Elevate, but really just leaning into the two remaining hard breaches in the Maverick and the Warden. Some good soft breach. Not only we got the breaches from Sophia breaching rounds, and also Todd's skeleton key, but 2 grenades on Warden. And then a little bit of area denial from Shade, plus those extra smokes. But this could be quite difficult to deal with this roam clear. Especially without that Thatcher, that is unbanned, I might add.
Yet again, Thatcher unbanned but not picked. I feel like so many operators go through this treatment where they are so commonly banned, and when they start to phase out of being the common ban, because teams are so comfortable not using them, they're just seemingly not really in the lineup anymore.
Yeah,
it's happened with Mirror quite a lot.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say you could pick up the mirror for that one. Looking for this mute jammer, I think, is Warden. Potentially going to thermite that key wall open. The mute is... Oh, that's unfortunate for the mute there. Shot Mozzie's drone, but no worries. The drone's taken out either way. And something I did want to point out, I had a quick squiz at some of Ferox's recent results, and no, in my recent results through Six Masters and Pro League last season, Ferox has never banned Hibana on Clubhouse, previously banning out the Maverick and the Thatcher. So maybe this might be a surprise for Wildcard. But to be honest, the only thing I'm surprised about here is that Ferox not bringing that Thatcher, as we alluded to, or Deptra, not bringing that Thatcher, as we alluded to, is going to make it very difficult to clear these mute jammers and Mozzie pests and find this control.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
So far, I actually feel like they've done a pretty decent job there in terms of clearing out that room. Lost anybody at least, and they have flushed them back down to site. It's taken about half the round to do so, but we saw, or we've seen many a time before, that delay is actually significantly longer. So it's well played to Ferox. It gives them a good start to the round at least, and they're going to have to start working on these hatches and some of the hard breach, because that's really the next critical step.
1 minute left. Oh no, surely not. Ethan, you can't do that to him. That's diffuser down. This is my favorite skin in the whole game right here, the White Tiger. Is he good for another one? Waiting patiently. Smart job from Deptra to wide peek that. Doesn't want to get within range of that shotgun. And Sushi as well from the window. Does eliminate Ethan, but thanks to the disconnect of Shade, it does put Ferox in a man disadvantage. Despite finding that trade there, 3 versus 4, 40 seconds to go. Aggressive push from Diesel. And there you go, Geo on the long angle does clean up Todd.
Deptra as well taken out, so actually all up to Sushi. He's managed to find his way into dirt. He's going to try and sneak down, but that goo mine is going to expose him. He's tagged in some shots as well, so 20 seconds to go. It's not going to be easy at all for Sushi, as all the attention is going to be laid onto the dirt doorway. There's only one way he can come in. Wildcard just playing patient. They're not trying to hunt this at all. Letting him play safely. He does shoot the C4, but of course he is finished off. Wildcard with a strong first round on Clubhouse.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to go for that attack on the SSG roam for Ferox, and I mean on top of that they had a disconnect from Shade's behalf and been unfortunate there. I would have liked to see that Thatcher maybe speed up the droning a little bit, or a Jackal, to be honest. Maybe substitute the Capitao for a Jackal, to be honest. I don't know whether they're bringing that Capitao just in case it's a CCTV hold and they want to use it to clear out the position top rafters, but that would make sense since Shade is sticking it. Diesel's going to 6-pick off the Echo onto the castle. Once again bringing that castle, but this time for that CCTV hold.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by...
Castle pick on this side, not as common, so curious where he's going to be placing them. I was going to say CCTV window is probably the most prominent point you would place the castle, and that's exactly what Diesel will do. Again, assists some line of sights there through CCTV. But the rest of the
also
tap on the vigil is going to be
yeah,
interesting.
that's exactly what I was talking about. I mean, with the castle vigil combo is something we talk about on this basement, but how do you expect that it might be used here?
10 seconds to insertion.
Yeah, I feel like off-site, maybe around Master, because
5 seconds
a big
left.
part of taking this this site is that you would take Master across, take construction control, because that puts a lot of pressure into Cash. So if you can't comfortably take that, and part of that is taking bar, or at least having some kind of bar control, that might be painful. So it seems like that's where they're going to play. Diesel's use these castle barricades down below, like they're going to play pretty heavy, actually, an extension on this, which is not particularly normal.
Yeah, a heavy stock slash bar slash lounge kind of roam here. Pat, it'll be difficult to drone him out. He's actually barricaded just with soft barricades, all those doorways into bar. And Diesel does have that castle barricade to prevent any kind of push into lounge or angles outside from the lobby door. There's also a rotate hole between stock and bar as well. And that second castle barricade downstairs. You can check back later and see how effective that's been. Warden does take a bit of damage while getting this wall, but that's the soft component opened. Deptra's going to finish off the job and open up the rest of that wall. And a nice one as well. That's something we don't often see, but an explosive used to open up some of the wall between CCTV and Cash.
Bomb located by attackers.
Time management so far pretty good for Ferox. Getting that wall open nice and early, always
A bomb
an
has
important
been
part.
located.
Wildcard very freely moving around here on this site, which is, again, not particularly normal. I mean, a lot of CCTV cache is players being constrained and stuck on site, but that's not really the case here for Wildcard. They're moving around very freely. Not a safe rotate there, though, across to cache, because that kennel's wall is now open, and it is being watched.
I don't think that electrical landed from Emo to try to prevent or try to electrify those walls on Con. Diesel still sitting out here in storage, getting aggressive onto that rappel, but Ethan peeks out aggressively. I really like that combination. Diesel and Ethan together, pushing from different positions, helps pinch that player and remove him from that dangerous rappel.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
Flashbang trying to waste this ADS, but it doesn't work just yet.
Ooh, that's Warden going to be taken off there, so Wildcard again just looking quite strong with this defense, and this position below is just absolutely wreaking havoc. It's Pat on this Vigil, finally refrags though, but it's a 2 versus 4, so it's going to be a really tough position. That exothermic charge was tricked off with the Kaid, so it's just all going wrong here for Ferox.
try to use an exothermic on that single window, I believe. There you go. And it blows. Another avenue open into CC, but very little time left. Oh, just missing that shot there, and the last two polished off just at the same time. A very nice and comfortable round for Wildcard.
Comfortable, great word to use, because that really did look comfortable for them. One thing I highlighted a lot was that they were just moving around really freely between bar, stock, lounge. They just had so much map control, which isn't as common for CCTV cache. Usually your biggest spread is your garage player playing catwalk. Maybe there's a guy lurking lounge. And then sometimes you might have somebody flank up towards master, but then it's usually quite restricted. It's all about timing. So I really like the strat from Wildcard to give them that freedom. I think Ferox just weren't able to get stuff done because they just never dealt with that freedom Wildcard had.
It's not a good start really for Ferox, is it? I'm going over to the tertiary bomb site for Wildcard, gym and bedroom. I feel like I've seen so much play of this site from Wildcard, particularly when Emarin's playing that bandit. He would typically try to bandit trick this exterior wall, and then once that gets open, he would fall off, reinforce up the bathroom, and bandit trick that wall. But it looks like he's actually changed his strategy a little bit. Emo is now playing the Kaid. You can see Wildcard have clearly made quite a lot of changes to their roles, or at least some of their strategies on these specific bomb sites, with Emarin rotating what counter breach operator he's playing.
5 seconds to go.
It'll also indicate that Wildcard will have made some, no doubt, improvements on the way that they hold this, not just the operators that they use to hold it. We'll have to wait and see.
Ferox struggling to get themselves on not just the round score, but even kills. You saw that there's only 2 kills so far from their side. It really emphasizes how much they've struggled to obtain meaningful map control in the context of Wildcard strategies. Of course, that's meant it's been very hard for them to get anything going on here. They are going to open this Kennel's wall, which means they can start putting pressure on towards Cash, which is where we see Diesel and Geo playing. They're very important map control to hold for as long as possible for the defense of Gym Bedroom. Can't quite just straight funnel through Jacuzzi Wall. Something they will focus on, as Warden is going to focus on opening up Jacuzzi Wall, and Todd is there with the sledgehammer. You can just open that soft part once it's exposed, which looks like he's going to do so right now.
Warden's going to drone on inside as well. Gets muted up, however. Seems a bit more difficult. And there is that player playing in Logistic. Suchi trying to flash this out. Is this an attempt to destroy that shield? Indeed. Oh, did get the shield. That's the Goyo removed. The Vulcan, if you will. Oh, I thought that was electrified, but no, I guess not. Drone gets in nice and safe. Gets past that mute jammer. A little bit more info here. This is going to get caught by the Wamai device, no doubt. We saw Geo rather placing earlier. God's got one more. Drones it out. Sees that the player has moved. Isn't able to get that free kill any longer. A nice job from Sushi. Trying to open up this wall, but no Thatcher. Means that they'll have to destroy that mute jammer. They do. Oh, it gets tricked by the Kaid. How perfect. And that's the last exothermic charge as well, forcing Warden to get in nice and aggressive. 1 minute to go. There's still lots of time to play with for Ferox.
Yeah, and still nowhere really they can go. Diesel has rotated below, so he's ready to deny, and that's C4 comes through the hole. Beautifully done. Warden in that aggressive position taken out. Sushi replaces, gets a nice shot onto Imarin. It gives a bit of an opening. A trade comes out, but this gym plan is not going to be safe. I mean, there's so many angles through the floor, as well as the holes in towards Master. They just have nothing to really help them get some kind of plan happening.
Attackers drop the diffusers.
Another player picked off as well. Pat's doing a great job here in logistics. Gets another one, and well, I guess that's all Wildcard need. Not breaking a sweat yet here on their defensive half.
Yeah, really not. I mean, Ferox are just struggling to obtain map control. I feel like I've said it so much, but like in the end, just then all they got was Jacuzzi Wall, and they just had that hallway, and that was pretty much it. Todd was trying his best from logistics hatch to use grenades, but the magnets were countering that, and then he constantly was losing his intel. In the end, Pat took that position and got a couple of picks from it. So once they were funneling through the hallway, it was just easy for Wildcard to just hold their safe angles and get the picks, and then Ferox just had no chance.
One of the reasons I always love watching Wildcard is they're just a masterclass of little tricks and strats. So whether it's the Kaid trick combined with that mute jammer, which allowed them to destroy that second exothermic charge, or when eventually Warden did go in to replace Sushi and actually try to Maverick open that wall, Diesel was downstairs. A hole in the floor in the gym bomb site allowed Diesel to throw a C4 from the pool table area all the way up to where Warden was sitting trying to Maverick that wall open. I just really love to see little plays like that. It reminds me very much of last week's game, Wildcard versus Sinister, and Wildcard had some really cheeky C4 angles to deny some hard breach. And Wildcard using these plays, using these little tricks, it's always something that their opponents just doesn't seem to be aware of.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Yeah, I mean, it was Warden that got taken out by that C4. He pre-peeks those holes. Guess checking whether somebody was below shooting, but maybe not considering the fact that a C4 could pop up through. Wildcard, as you said, have never really looked tested. Again, Ferox only managed to get 1 frag on that round. So Wildcard, for 3 rounds in a row, have had 4 up. They're close to flawless rounds, essentially. Ferox are going to be struggling again here, trying to clear out this round. Ethan on the top floor on the mute. But it's not easy to be opening things. They're trying to clear out these mute jammers. Again, it's just all about this time delay. Just ensuring that Ferox never have a lot of control with a lot of time.
They being Wildcard, have sacrificed some of their information denial, getting rid of that Mozzie, but they brought the Valkyrie instead. So it seems like Wildcard seem pretty confident in the amount of info denial that they've got and would rather just lean more into information gathering. We saw Emo placing some cameras up here before. It was for a bit of a pre-fire. They're on the hunt for him, and Pat finds that opening frag on the Vigil. Takes down Deptra. Second time the poor guy's been taken out first. Deptra's death is followed up by Sushi now. Pat finds 2, and now he's going to drop down back to the basement, but keep that scanner on to disrupt those drones.
Again, Wildcard just running rings around Ferox there. Almost caught players rotating back to site. One did manage to escape back upstairs, but they're just going to yeet onto site, actually. They're taking Church control. 3 frags all of a sudden to Ferox means that they get the man advantage in the blink of an eye, Dev. 3 versus 1 as the plant's going down, all up to Ethan. He is in blue, but he is absolutely surrounded by Ferox players.
And this has just gone from a 5v3 into a 1v3 for Ethan. Nade's gonna... Oh, poor man's being abused right now. A C4 is gonna likely take out one player, and it does. I don't think he has any holes to use in this wall. This is totally doable, though. Both players are not full HP. Surely he can win this fight. Come on, he has to do it. He gets it. Still lots of time to work with. He's gonna keep using the shotgun. There's only one obvious place, but there's an enemy to be in, but no, he doesn't manage the clutch. Warden holds his own and takes down Ethan. A 5v3 for Wildcard turned into a 1v3, turned into a 1-on-1, and Warden wins this.
Wow, what a round. That was pretty nuts. I think even still, like, Ferox never really got map control. They just made a really quick snap decision. They knew that players were still rotating back, and they just said, okay, let's just go now. They took Church, and that was really all it took, was that one player. And then once they were in, they could get that plant down, and it was post-plant. Ethan did a great job, though, trying to clutch this round. I honestly thought he had that. I think it was just the fact that he was low HP in this gunfight meant all Warden needed was 1 bullet. And a hit.
Very tough position to be in for Ethan. Kept his nerves about him, and Warden as well, really holding out. Just barely winning that round for his team. And I mean, we said the first 3 rounds for Wildcard were just so comfortable, never looking pressured. And then finally, I think Ferox found an opening, and they just went for broke. Exploited it. It worked so well for them. Wildcard, they're not going to dilly-dally too much on that. Not going to worry about that Church and Arsenal defense and keep rotating through these bomb sites. Back to Church, Cash and CCTV.
Playing a pretty similar strat to last time they held it as well, extending this roam down to the first floor. looked like it worked very effectively. Ferox never really clearing it out, which meant those rotates were free and safe. Really did come back to bite them as Pat got a couple of kills from the bar area into construction. See what happens this time, whether Ferox can adapt to it and counter it differently. Geo is actually going to be the catwalk player there. It's no real traditional anchor operator play that position. You see a Maestro or a Doc, for example, playing that position so frequently.
That 3 armor really does help you a little bit. Often players will be hitting you in the arm or the leg. Just being able to soak up a few more bullets does help, especially if you're a Doc. You can actually really hold out. I like this. The Sledge is removing the soft part of the wall even before the Maverick goes and gives it a shot. Is this a Falcam? It is. Wow, what a nicely placed one too. Geo could risk a C4 here, but it might get taken out. Emorin finds the first kill. Poor Deptra, 3rd round in this map. He's been the first pick here. It's a lot of utility gone as well.
Yeah, as I fear, pretty important. Very helpful. Not going to be making an impact. Wildcard just starting these rounds off so well. Haven't denied any entry into construction though, so Ferox can start to build something from here. In fact, Emorin's really the only one standing in their way. He's the only one on site. He has Ethan close, and Geo close as well in catwalk, but that's pretty much it. Again, they've got that heavy roam downstairs, which is in the hands of Diesel and Pat.
Emo's just waiting for someone to peek him on out through Con into Cash. Bullet hole with the TCSG. The way he's going to at least, or he's surely going to at least do a bit of damage in that fight. Ethan aggressively peeking that main wall. You can see that Wildcard want to establish whether they have control of that balcony or not. It's so important. Changes the way that they play. Sushi gets injured, but there is the revive to come out. All 4 players remaining from Ferox have shaped up around this construction side. And no doubt Wildcard have become aware of that and won't be worried about that eastern balcony any longer.
Oof. Emorin tags Shade to the slightest millimeter of health there. Unlucky not to get the pick, but again, Ferox, even though they do have a bit of the map control here through construction, and then they've also got Kennel's Wall open, they haven't done much with it. Pat finds a pick.
Damn.
Ethan gets another. Oh, it's just falling apart for Ferox here, Dev.
Wildcard are just so good at controlling that main CCTV wall, but okay, Shade. Pushing up, potentially up the red stairs now, but he's got 2 players to contest with at the top of it. And he's just so low on HP. Potentially there's some information onto the cache site, and the Maverick looking through his holes. Emo, Ethan, and Geo just waiting. The IQ gets all the way to the top. He might be good for another. He is indeed. And that's a 2 versus 1 now. Ethan has to hold on, but Shade, a huge round with the 4K to hold them on. In fact, that was the ace.
Insane. That was, what, a 5 versus 2, I think, by the time Shade started getting those picks. Either way, Shade having a massive impact, just fragging out. Wildcard didn't have the answer. I mean, Ferox get their 2nd round in a situation that really just never looked like that round should have been theirs in the first place.
No, they had no right to take that one, but I guess Shade just, he had plans. He's got to finish this game so he can go and do whatever he wants to do. And what he wants to do, I guess, is just push up red stairs and get 5 kills. I counted that correctly, right? That was an ace.
I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, maybe it was a 4K. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit. I don't know. I don't remember anyone else getting a kill, but I'm gonna... okay, could be... No, that was an ace! Yeah, that was an ace. 100% that was an ace. He got 2 kills before he pushed up red. He gets the top of red, gets the first pick. Pretty sure he got the 2nd pick, and then he held down for the last one. I'm gonna put my foot down. That was an ace. And if it wasn't, then I don't want to hear about it.
Yes, boss. Okay. Well, guess we'll have to move
apparently
on. Production just confirmed it with a 4K, so...
Damn it!
Yes, we won't talk about that, Dev.
5 seconds left before insertion.
I'm sad now. Never mind. I'll go home now. Oh wait, I am home. Thanks.
Oh.
Well. Welcome home, Carl.
Alright, well, seeing as you can just wallow in whatever you want to wallow in, Dev Mother. We're going to talk about this final round of the half, and that's the Jim Bendrew defense for Wildcard, which they held successfully last time. Of course, because they were successful 3 rounds in a row at the start, it means they've never had to repeat a bomb site because of failure. That will mean that this is new grounds for Ferox if they want to actually win it. They struggled last time. All they got was jacuzzi wall open, and they were stuck in this gym hallway, top of main stairs. That was pretty much it.
And Todd has brought the Thatcher this time, which can help counter that Kaid trick that really punished Ferox when going for that opening onto where Emo is sitting right now, that main wall into bathroom. I like that adaptation from Ferox. Warden's going to just first open up this main wall with this Maverick. Oh, so difficult. His last few bits. So frustrating. Ethan on the run out all the way from strip. That's the thermite. Come on, man. Ferox is just trying to open up some walls here, bro, and Wildcard's having none of it.
I bet Ethan's fun at parties, you know? Look, I think Ferox is caught sleeping. Not sure whether he had the intel or Ethan just playing on knowledge, game sense, whatever it is. It's going to be Jungle Street for Ferox. They're actually just going to do pretty similar strap. They're going to yeet in after clearing that out. Warden takes a massive amount of damage to that Goyo shield. Shade's been down as Ferox is starting to bleed players, bringing it to 2 versus 5 now, Dev. But hey, the last round felt pretty much just like this.
Yeah, things are a bit different. Todd knows he has this top floor control and he's just waiting for Wildcard to peek out logistics, but I don't think Gio's going to do that. Pat might. So now 2 players for Todd to deal with in logistics. Pat, though, peeking this Anchorage very nicely, and goodness, he deals with him. Unfortunately, Warden's knee does finish him off. He sees 1 player come around the corner. There's 2 more here, and Wildcard polish off their half. 4-2. Nice and easy.
Very good defense half from Wildcard. I think Ferox should probably be happy with themselves that they managed to get 2 rounds, because I really got to say, a lot of that just felt like Wildcard were in total control.
Every round that Wildcard won was just so one-sided. And the rounds that Ferox won, well, both of them were very close. The first one was coming from a round man deficit, 3 versus 5. They took control of the bomb site on Church and completely stole it from Wildcard. Great job. And the other round was when Shade pushed up red stairs and got a 4K, not an ace. But yeah, I mean, all the rounds that Wildcard won, and it was 4 out of 6 there. They just looked so convincing, and really that last round was kicked off with that strip run out from Ethan. I mean, if he had killed the Thatcher or whatever, you know, big whoop, then he killed the Thermite. And that just completely changed the way that Ferox had to play that situation. The entire idea of going into that round, bringing the Thatcher was, in my opinion, trying to open up that bathroom wall. It was what they failed to do last time. And, well, they failed again.
I think you're on point there. They were able to get that bathroom wall open, well then that's a long line of sight into the bedroom that you can then use yourself. And what Wildcard did last time, or the previous time they held that site, was once Ferox got that control after they opened Jacuzzi wall, Wildcard all backed away out of Master and out of Gym. They were looking to deny from a distance and retake. So Ferox did have that chance to hold Master, well then they might have had a safer opportunity to at least get a plant down. But yes, it was all thwarted by Ethan's run out, and then it was just an absolute wreck after that.
Yeah, it was. Now, Ferox are going to head over to Gym Bedroom, which is a tertiary site for most teams, but hey, I'm not too surprised when I see teams go over here. Similar operator usage on the defensive side, very much playing into that Jaeger. Well, I mean, literally, I could just read out all 5 operators they're picking, because they're all mainstays for Wildcard. Notably, I suppose, that Goyo and the Wamai in the castle. Oh, really struggling here with this Maverick. Surely not. Oh, man, Diesel. I mean, Diesel really had no pressure there. Surely he could have gotten that open, but just a couple of mishaps. And unfortunately, that meets his demise. But Todd, seemingly unaware that these holes had been opened. No, actually, wait. Pap killed him from this side. Great pre-fire there. Really nice. We wouldn't have been able to see Todd. That just must have been a smart pre-fire.
Yeah, potentially some intel. I think there was another player at Kennel's wall, so they might have heard footsteps or even seen some kind of crossing. Wildcard halfway through the rounds now. At least the man counts even. They haven't been able to obtain CCTV cache control either. So both of these teams not electing to take that. Or they are going to get absolutely deleted by that C4 though. That's Geo. Not sure he was able to trigger that exothermic charge either in bathroom.
Nice.
So looking good for Ferox. It's a nice frag from Sushi, and they've got a pretty solid man advantage and diffuser down there at the top of main stairs.
That was a really essential kill there. If Sushi had been taken out, would have opened things up for Wildcard. But no. Sushi, great job to dodge that flashbang grenade. And then also turn around and land just enough bullets to take down Ethan. Emo and Pat, diffuser not in their hands. Do have some good angles opened up, ready to push in. Pat finds one. It's a nice start, pushing up the main stairs as well. Recarrying into that ground off of Sushi. It doesn't look like it's possible for Wildcard to open up this wall, but it doesn't seem to matter. Pat finds one. That's an aggressive push, but he bites off more than he can chew, and Warden takes him out. 2 versus 1 now, and Warden's hungry for more. Peeking around the next corner, Emarin's taken out. Trying to pick himself up. Ferox don't seem aware. Surely he doesn't get to pick himself up. He does!
What?
Just 5 HP and a dream here. 15 seconds, pre-firing out, just waiting for one of these guys to peek him. He doesn't have the diffuser though. Pushing on around again, and Warden's chasing him back with the pistol out. Warden does clean things up. But man, that got too close for comfort.
Yeah, I can't believe they let him pick himself up, but in the end it was not effective. Warden did get the kill, but yeah. Wildcard struggled a bit with that attack. Same thing, they just didn't get Kennel's wall open, so they couldn't get CCTV control to then put pressure on Cash. That's just meaning for this attack on a gym bedroom. They're trying to funnel through that jacuzzi wall, and it's so hard to do so. The defenses have too much control and too many angles that they can cover.
Yeah, it was real tough. And look, I don't think there was just one thing for Wildcard that round that really fell apart, but a couple things. I mean, failing that Mav trick for Diesel, I mean, I don't want to point the finger, but that really put Wildcard in a poor position. They lost a lot of utility, including those 2 grenades to clear out Goya shields. They didn't get that main wall open to pressure CCTV. If they had gotten that wall open, I think that Wildcard would have looked pretty good to just take control of CCTV and do a kind of cash side take, but no, instead they had to get a lot more desperate. Again, if Ethan had managed to get that kill onto Sushi holding the main stairs, things might have looked different as well.
Very true. And now Ferox are going to be the ones defending Church. We saw Wildcard defend successfully once and then lost it once. It was that quick attack, that quick rush in the final minute, getting Church control where Ethan almost clutched it out. How Ferox go on this defense. Deptra, oh, I thought he was going to stick that, play aggressive, that garage door. So commonly pre-fired, so it could have been not great. Another Deptra opening death stat could have been on his name, but not going to do it.
And we do have that bottom floor defense, Church and Arsenal, but unlike what we saw from Wildcard, this is very much the turtle strat. Not going for that SSG roam. Diesel's going to drone it out anyway up to top, but hopefully Wildcard will be pretty efficient in this map clear. Just cover these rotations off. Surely Warden's going to get spotted there, hanging out in storage though. No drones have gone his way yet. Immarin's just covering up this flank, putting a claymore down inside garage, but he does have to be careful. Warden could go for that flank. And Todd's Valkyrie cameras could enable some kind of play from a player like Warden. Ooh, uh-oh. Yeah, that's the cleanup there from Emo. Good job. That drone came in just in time. Warden stood no chance.
Felt like I saw an outline of a drone in lounge from Pat, and I wonder whether he was already aware that maybe somebody was going to push up storage. Either way, yeah, it was a really good flush of that position, so it means Wildcard have strong control. Just a minute ticking away there. It's really good from them. They can work on these hatches. Going to really put a lot of pressure onto this defense, knowing that they have a lot of entryways on the site and they have to think about covering.
A bomb has been located.
Lovely angles all the way from the top floor. Ethan ensuring that he won't get C4'd. Buck does have a little bit more ammunition in that skeleton key than he used to. He's lost the nades. This is really where that lack of Hibana from Ferox's band comes into play for Wildcard, but I don't think it's actually having much effect, to be honest. These hatches open, everything looking pretty good. There is one thing I've seen Wildcard do with Hibana where they open up angles into church at a low level while sitting at bottom main stairs. Maybe that's what they were trying to counter. Diesel playing bottom main. Maybe he's going to try and use the Maverick torch on church wall instead. That's very risky.
Yeah, it's a long
shot.
time to be stuck at that wall. Oh, that nade gonna hit the mark? It does! Diesel, that's a nice frag onto Shade, but they're only giving themselves 30 seconds. They do have a man advantage. It's gonna put a lot of pressure on Ferox, and they've lost probably one of their more critical players in the smoke, but the Echo is still up, and it could have a massive effect onto this final stage of this round.
They're just pushing in, the collapse comes in. Oh, the player in blue gets down, and he secures that kill as well. 2 versus 5, 1 versus 5. This could, in theory, be one with the Yokai, not to be. Now it's a huge order for Sushi. He's going to get his head tossed off, and that's a flawless defense in the end of it for Wildcard.
Yeah, really, really great attack from Wildcard in the end. Just getting so much map control really quick after they cleared Warden out. They looked very prepared for the kind of play that Warden was going to try, and I mean, that's something that is brought up a little bit about Ferox and their playstyle, as they're constantly trying to flank or poke you from those kinds of angles. I think Wildcard just, they had their number. Ferox are not going to reattempt that site. I think rightfully so. They were pretty hard counted.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I'm interested personally in, I think I got a bit distracted, you would have noticed, like last round, thinking about that Hibana ban, and speculating, why on earth would Ferox do this? Because Wildcard is so good at getting the hatches with Maverick anyway, it doesn't seem to have an impact. And then I remembered that I have seen in the past Wildcard, I'm not sure if you remember this at all, but Wildcard would sit bottom main stairs with their Hibana and use Hibana pellets to expose the black box and the small bar positions on in church, which are the 2 of the strongest anchor positions on that site. Little ankle height Hibana holes would allow Wildcard to expose those positions, and then they would come in from Moto Door to get that execute. And maybe Ferox were thinking, okay, let's just ban the Hibana, they can't use that strat. There you go. But Wildcard went for the thermite charge instead. An attempted C4 was flung from Arsenal deep near the ash wall, but that didn't hit the mark, and I think it was just too late to destroy that thermite charge.
5 seconds left before insertion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether, if that is the case with the Hibana ban, I'm just not sure whether that really warrants the ban. Like, I feel like that's such a niche thing to counter with a ban. Only has place for maybe 1 round where it might have affected them at all. He just delayed Shade with just a pre-fire.
Was he just trying to shoot like a mute jammer or something?
Maybe, yeah. I think you're right.
Poor Shade, bro. That's tough. And yeah, F's in chat for that one. Yeah, I don't know about the Hibana ban. I guess maybe that's something we can ask Warden after the game. But for now, it's Diesel opening up this CCTV wall. He did fluff up these Maverick holes last time. Ooh, lovely trigger finger there for Emo. This is really tough to get this, but especially when defenders have minced the wall like this. But he's got to make sure he gets it right, because there's no room for error here.
Ooh, good adaptation too there for Imarin to be fully covering him, but actually he's going to bounce away. No, he's getting a deeper angle. I like this reposition. Diesel can be safer here.
Mess it up.
Oh, yeah, that's got to be Maverick player's nightmare, right?
I play a lot of Maverick, and yes, this is what I dream about. Imarin really could just be shooting out the soft part to help him out here. As long as the soft part is completely shot out, it's pretty easy for the Maverick. And no, he's done it again. Poor Diesel, but finally gets it open. Emo's likely to open that up now. But you can see, with that Goya shield right behind it, it's totally possible here that Imarin might not have another explosive destroy that shield. He really needs to, but he needs to make sure it doesn't get caught out by any ADSs. Yep, so he throws in a concussion to make sure there's no ADSs. There's none, and oh, that nade hits its mark.
Oh, Wildcard just certain things are coming across really clean here, and that grenade in particular is fantastic. 5 versus 3 man advantage. They've got garage control with a whole minute to go. I mean, this wall is going to need some work, although we'll have to funnel through the window. Oh, I like that bulletproof. Of course, it can be shot from below, so it was handled pretty simply, but either way, Wildcard have got themselves a lot of time here and a solid man advantage. I mean, none of them have lost a lick of HP. They're pretty set up to be able to get a good execute.
Gio wants a thermite, a rotate hole into the site so we can get that plant down in CCTV, but as we saw, no more EMPs left for Pat. Eventually they do clear that electric claw, and Pat, just unfortunate timing there. Someone's there for a repeat though. 2 flashes go out to burn the ADS. Another smoke's gonna go out. That's gonna deny the plant. Now pushing in to go downstairs potentially. These attackers have to start making this plant, but that smoke's gonna choke out the plant spot. Diesel falls, and now there's 2 players left on either side. Just Gio left. Surely this can be denied. He's got to stick it for another 4 seconds. Sushi can't find it. Todd peeks up, and there you go. Ferox get their defense.
Ended up being a big round from Todd, a 3 or a 4K, I believe. I can't believe that all crumbled for Wildcard, though. They really didn't think about how they were going to get through Catwalk into the plant spot safely, and also deny that smoke from Cash. I mean, it kind of came down to Pat. He was the one about to push the stairs. He pre-aimed it for so long, and then, of course, just as he un-ADS's is when that player peaks. Lost his gunfight, and yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah, I'm going to echo your statement. Todd was 100% the MVP of that round. That time delay, and it's something we highlighted before this game, it can be the bane of Wildcard. It was definitely the bane of the old Wildcard, and we thought that was potentially a problem that they had fixed, but in that round, they finally opened up, they got garage control, opened up the map for themselves, had that avenue onto the CCTV bomb site from Kennels, but the next step was Gio to thermite open that wall from top garage into the site. And they had to take a few seconds to get rid of that Kaid charge, and well, that took a bit of time. And then by the time they finally thermited that in, Diesel went down for the plant. There's so much gas that he can't really sit anywhere. On top of that, Todd just holds firm on that red stairs. Really made it difficult for Wildcard in the latter portions of that round.
10 seconds remaining.
I guess it just comes to a point where if you're Wildcard, maybe the decision was just to send it into Cash and at least obtain that control, because it's harder to deny from below. I mean, you can just plant on that box. And it's a bit easier to cover as well, but either way, hindsight will always be 2020. Means Ferox are going to go back down to Church Arsenal. This was a flawless round last time from Wildcard when they attacked it. See what adaptations Ferox have made to play it out a bit better here. Wildcard being pretty efficient on entry in these attacks. Deutra is on a solid roam on the top floor, but all by himself. So that can really be exploited if Wildcard are aware.
Detra's already been the opening pick 3 times on this map and hasn't found the first pick of the round just yet, even once. It's going to sit in a spot where I've seen God Legion get a very nice couple of kills before, but it is a vulnerable spot to getting droned out. Previously, we did see Emo-Rin pushing in here on the back of a drone. Emo's going to drone it to start with. Oh, and that position's exposed, but Deptra getting back out of dodge through Oil Pit. Definitely wise.
It's interesting you brought that up as well, actually, on Elevate after God became famous for that spot. Internally, it was called God Spot.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty iconic little double kill that he got from there.
So good.
Yeah, Wildcard have actually been quite stalled out on this clear, which I'm a little surprised about.
Not sure why it's taken this long, to be honest. There's no utility that I'm aware of. Maybe Deptra's got a couple of Mozzie pests that are making this a bit longer, but no players actually up here, and it's just a huge contrast. You know, last round that Wildcard attacked this, Emo-Rin was in garage and had Claymore off the ladder, like, what, a minute faster than what they've done this time? Instead, he's droning for himself this time, and look, Wildcard is still unaware. There are 5 players on site, and there always have been, except for Deptra very early on in garage. Wildcard, this is really slow, and I can't put my finger on why.
I think they just must have second-guessed themselves, or they weren't 100% sure on the rotate. It didn't seem like they ever fully caught Deptra rotate back down. And sometimes when that happens, the call will come out
Attackers drop
that
the
you
diffuser.
think he's rotated, but
Attackers
you're not
have
sure.
recovered their
And so
diffuser.
sometimes it's just worth investing that time to triple check, throwing out top floor. But of course, it does mean as you
Oh,
come
no.
through, it's going to be real hectic, and things like Todd C4 are bound to happen.
This is a really poor position to be in. Ethan does get one back onto Todd, but there's no thermite left. No chance of opening up that church wall. Another pick. Ethan's refrag, but Pass is going to full send it. We know that he likes to do this, but Depth just ready and waiting with the commando. It prevents that from happening. 15 left, and Diesel and Emo have got a tall order. Just Diesel now, and it looks like Ferox is going to even this up. 5-5. Diesel can find one more, but surely that's it. And there you have it, Ferox. They find their third successful defense.
I mean, as you said it, Ferox have made this 5-5. Just doesn't feel like it should be in my mind. I mean, Wildcard have been playing pretty well, but Ferox have started to rein it back hard on these defenses. And as these rounds are starting to go by, it seems like Ferox is starting to become more and more comfortable. Bit of an alarm bell there for Wildcard. I mean, they haven't secured at least overtime at all. So Ferox managed to get the next 2 rounds. Well then, Dev, it's going to be GG and Ferox will get the map.
Really think that Wildcard would be dodging that overtime at all costs. They looks like overtime is a possibility here, but Wildcard need to step up the pace here. I don't know what was wrong there. That round was incredibly slow to start with, and then, I mean, I personally think that trying to get a thermite charge off on the kitchen, like, that's just never gonna happen. Come on, like, that's a situation where the Hibana ban totally would have affected Wildcard. If that had been a Hibana, you can't see for that player. But oh, that thermite really was. I think that was the stone that just made the avalanche begin for Ferox that round.
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds left.
Now Wildcard needs to pull their finger out a bit here and get back on it, because this map feels like it might be fading a little bit. Not going to rotate 2 teammates. Yeah, look, Gym Bedroom, the big thing for them last time, again, was they just couldn't get this CCTV cache control. It was the same story for Ferox, in fact. I think that's going to be the big difference. They need to be able to get this control on this east side so that it's not as safe and not as comfortable for all these defenders playing around one side.
Funnily enough, this was the first defense that Ferox got. They won it straight off the gate, and then they didn't return to it until now. And they could have done it a lot earlier. Wow, that's a missed opportunity with that C4, but Diesel does take a bit of damage for it. At least Diesel didn't get picked off early, doing the CCTV wall.
Yeah. I mean, at least Kennel's wall's open. That's more than we can say for last time they were trying to attack it.
Just checking for these roamers, sorting out the sitch. Droning out. Of course, a heavy hold here on the cache side. Rotates for Todd, 2 shields to play with. And being the Wamai is the perfect operator to hold this, but no, actually he loses his shield despite that. Good usage of the Zephyr lifeline to clear that Goyo shield. Todd still has the other one, and he's holding top red at the moment. But it looks like for the most part, Wildcard's abandoned that, and Ethan does find a lead off. The Sushi going down on the mute. Not sure exactly where that was. Maybe from the rotate up the main stairs.
He was playing that main stairs position. So yeah, it looks like that's where the body of Sushi is on that landing. The one repelled on the window. So they've got a little bit of control here. Ferox players are very much aware of it. They are going to go for this bathroom wall now. See what they can get it. But oh, there's impacts. Oh, the frag grenade coming over the top though. Just right past each other. Nice frag grenade there. And it's going to make things a little bit easier for Wildcard, as well as the fact they have a 4 versus 2 man advantage now as we come into the final part of the round.
Despite all that, the final thermite charge has been used and destroyed. There's no other way that Wildcard can get an avenue into bathroom, but it might not matter. Another C4 kill comes out, rather a grenade kill. It's up to Todd now. Someone is watching his position. Wildcard looks to be in a strong position. He gets spotted out. Deals a bit of damage. Very experienced player. with a great gun in hand here. Does have pings, he might be able to deny this from below. Yes, he's gonna get it! And they are 1 versus 3, only 14 seconds left. Wildcard gotta step it up, but there's someone watching his rotate. And Wildcard, after a long haul, get us onto match point.
Look, I do not blame Todd at all for not expecting that position. Cheeky little spot there from Ethan to go prone and landing, but look, it was a good thought from Todd to go below. They had the intel, but the Wildcard had the time to be able to recover and reposition. So Wildcard now will be on match point, Dev. They have broken a bit of a drought. Ferox are going to be going back to CCTV cash.
Yeah, well, they've won this one already once, and in fact, that's the only time they've played it. Did I get that right? They've only played this bomb site once.
Yep.
And that was when they, I think we called it MVP, was it Warden? The guy playing the smoke. It was Todd, right?
Todd, that was the comeback.
Really, really nice. That late push, and there's Gas denying that plant, and also got to mention that Kaid charge that really made Wildcard falter a little bit on pushing in from Garage. So for me, if I'm thinking from Wildcard's perspective, yes, this is match point. What can you do to make this a little bit more efficient? Well, for starters, it'd be great if you could get that main CCTV wall open a little bit easier, Diesel. I know it's difficult, but trying to just optimize that's going to help out. You can see what Todd's doing right now, in fact. All of those soft destruction on that CCTV wall, it's making it incredibly difficult. Exactly, these holes just here. It makes it much more difficult. The inconsistency of the surface means that blowtorch, you have to kind of go back and forth, get a bit deeper, get a bit less deep. Honestly, my solution to that is just get one of your teammates to destroy the soft bit of the wall with their rifle.
Yep.
Just by shooting, just before you start mavericking. Save yourself the hassle, don't even worry about it. Get someone who's got good destruction. Literally any of your teammates could help you out. And then go for the wall. Ooh, but might be why a bandit? Like, they're gonna maverick it. What's the point in a bandit?
Good question. I don't know.
That, I guess.
Opening.
Just kill someone.
Opening pick. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly why they picked it. They just knew, if I had the MP7 in this position, bruh, I'm gonna get the open kill.
Oh, and that was a wall bang through the con exterior wall. I don't know whether Pat was trying to deploy a breaching charge. Risky strat. Oh, come on, Diesel. No, you can't do this to me. He missed a little bit. Now that gas comes out. No doubt Ferox are aware that Diesel missed a bit, and it means Diesel has to get into a really vulnerable position. Okay, nice drone shot, I guess. And you see the cracks starting to form for Wildcard here. I think Diesel might have just fixed up that last little bit, and yeah, he's got just a little bit left to go. He still missed something. This is the worst nightmare of a Maverick. He gets it finally, and Ethan finds that refrag onto Sushi and another. I'm sorry, what, Ethan? Where are you?
In master there, so maybe just catching a flank. Again, something I was talking about earlier that Ferox are pretty renowned for is the way that they flank. But then again, maybe they'll pick some side. Not too sure. Either way, it's helped Wildcard ease some pressure. They will have a man advantage now. They finally have wall open thanks to Diesel getting there in the end. The only thing really left to be the thorn in their side was the catwalk position. But just as I said that, Shade vaulted down. So if he's going to forfeit this and Wildcard see that, Emo Ring could retake it. I mean, it's important he stays at Kennels, but it's also important to take catwalk. I mean, it's a really strong position.
In fact, no one seems to be rotating to that position right now. It looks like it might be a master push, but Emo getting that other pick is really going to help out, and it must be a master push from here on out. The Capital is going to really try to deny some of these positions, but still, he's alive there, and he still has that shield. No, as I say, that shield destroyed. Just 2 players left from Ferox here on match point, and this is the trying moment for Wildcard on match point.
Yeah, but an unpredictable position here from Warden. If they haven't caught this cross, he might have a massive impact. Does get one onto Geo. He potatoes though onto Ethan. That would have been a big pick for him. It means it's all up to Shade. He's trying to contend with Emo Rin on the Kennels wall. He does get that, but the plan was going down. Actually got disrupted there. This is the one with Diffuser. Missing those shots, but he's not going to be able to get it. Ethan pushes through. Wildcard secure the map just before overtime. Valiant effort from Ferox, but just not quite enough.
Bit close for comfort there by the end of it. Not a good start for Wildcard in the last round. Leadoff kill went to Sushi, but Ethan a great push in from the master side, and that's where Wildcard rotated their execute, opening up the round for them and securing the MVP on the game as well. 16 kills.
Jeez. Oh,
Man's nuts.
Yeah, that's a hot match for Ethan there. Just
like
kind of
we didn't
crept up on it.
Yeah, we didn't talk about him a lot during the game, but there were so many highlight moments, like the last round of Wildcard's defense. Ethan ran out from strip as Jaeger and kills that Thermite player who's trying to go for the sauna wall. So essential.
Yeah, we talked about how that was really just a massive derailment of how that attack looked like it was going to be panning out for Ferox. So yeah, Ethan, a big map from him, and Wildcard in general. I mean, they had a really good first half. Second half looked like it was being a struggle, and Ferox were coming back into it, but those last two rounds falling the way of Wildcard. Definitely not easy for them in the end. 7-5, pretty close, but they still looked pretty good overall.
Wildcard really know how to pull through when it matters, and it definitely got scary when you got to the 5-5. Ferox had some strong defensive rounds, and we saw a little bit of that old Wildcard start to creep back, some late pushes that got punished, especially when Ferox was playing into the smoke play. And I mean, I got worried there for a minute, but are we starting to think maybe this is the Wildcard that we've been pining for all this time?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely look like they're climbing back to that strength. The Wildcard that we saw in the slump in Pro League Season 11 in that first half, and even Invitational, vastly different to this. They seem to have had a lot of communication issues, and just their teamwork was never there. And ever since they've brought on Pat and Geo, it's looked a lot tighter. And every week I watch them, it just seems like there's certain things that just really are rekindling that, I guess you could call it, old Wildcard.
Yeah, and we very much have some of those old players who showed up. We talked about Ethan, plus 10, 16, and 6. And for opening kills, he got 4 opening kills, not an opening death even once. So absolutely on fire was the captain tonight. We have another map. It's going to be Consulate. It's Ferox's map pick, and that's coming up to you really soon.
Seconds to go. Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser. Attackers dropped the diffuser.
about two hearts that beat in time. And the tide was looking down all night, blocking out the sun that we need. Maybe we can change our stripes and colors. You're the only one I see. And I take it all or nothing at all. Driving through the night till I'm at your door. Go outside, stay up all night. And I take it all or nothing at all. Driving through the night till I'm at your door. Go outside, stay up all night. Sleep through the sunrise. Into my past and I count the numbers of the dreams that I left behind. I don't even care now that I've discovered a new kind of peace of mind. Up above us, looking down on us, there's an angel I know. We don't need to worry or discuss much. It's time for me to hit the road. Take it all or nothing at all. Driving through the night till I'm at your door. Go outside, stay up all night. Sleep through the sunrise. Stay up all night, and I take it all or nothing at all. Driving through the night till I'm at your door.
Hey guys, we're back and we got some more games for you tonight. In fact, one more map here in the Six Masters for tonight. I'm Dev. Raven, how was that chocolate bar?
Pretty good. It's definitely given me the sugar that I needed to get through the rest of the night. Swallowed in the final second, so yep.
Good,
Fantastic.
No, I respect that, mate. Good stuff. All right, we got one more map left. That was a bit closer than we expected, I think, going into it. Wildcard did show us they still have that greatness near the end of it. A lot of close rounds, and the production team's been playing with me as well. If you guys want to get behind our production, get maybe featured on the ticker, potentially get your tweets up, use the hashtag 6masters or tweet at Rainbow6ANZ, get involved in the conversation. You might see your tweet up on stream, which would be pretty cool. Because, yeah, I mean, I've actually really enjoyed the extra kind of community involvement that Six Masters has had. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been really cool. The ticker is a great addition. I love seeing all the extra things down there. And, of course, everybody's tweets popping up is really neat to read. Yeah, so keep it up, guys.
Yeah, we got one more map. It is Consulate, and I actually got this wrong before when we went to break. I said it was Ferox's map pick, but we're actually going to Wildcard's map pick now, which does make you a little bit concerned, right? Because we just come off a 7-5-2 Wildcard on what Ferox picked, and coming up next, Consulate, a map that we think is quite good for Wildcard historically.
Yeah, I'm definitely concerned about Ferox, but that being said, they actually ended up playing all right on Clubhouse. It was their pick, and they did play well last week on Clubhouse. However, they seem like they've started to fix some of their issues. Todd was one player that had always struggled over the last week and then the start of that map to really get into the game, but he started to really open up on a couple of rounds in particular. He was very instrumental. So if he can continue that, and maybe they've started to grind together that synergy, Consulate could play out a little bit differently, but for sure, Wildcard are a good team on Consulate.
I definitely felt like some of the strategies Ferox were bringing to the table were doing a good job to counter the Wildcard weaknesses. We talked about how Wildcard could get a bit slow sometimes, and the smoke in particular from Todd, you mentioned, really helped play into that for Ferox. But coming into Consulate, if I'm taking a look at the history results, right, this is a kind of well-known established map that Wildcard likes to enjoy. 7-2 Elevate recently, a draw with TBD, and a 7-2 on Knights. Those are the results I have. As for Ferox, I can't see a match that they've played on Consulate since January. That was a loss 2-7 against TBD, but there's a lot you can do to improve your map in 4 months, especially when you have a vastly different roster.
Yeah, there's every chance that they've been working on it for a while and just keeping it safe to the side. And maybe that's going to be a massive surprise for Wildcard. And on the other hand, I mean, Wildcard might be backing their strength on the map, but that just lack of match footage in general for what Ferox can do on Consulate might really hurt them.
That's a great point. Wildcard, we know, are one of those teams that gets right behind that counter-strat mentality. Let's see what you guys have thought about this matchup. Bring up the poll votes. So we saw this before, and we thought maybe it wasn't as tending towards Wildcard as we thought, but I think Ferox's performance on map 1 have kind of given some kind of credit to the 24% we have on their side.
Yeah, I definitely think they've justified people giving them a chance for sure, and I don't think we ever fully wrote them off. They were always a bit of a 50-50 because of this new lineup. It's never easy to say whether that's going to stack up well, especially against a team like Wildcard. So far, it's holding true that Wildcard are coming out on top, but I mean, even then, I'm still hesitant to write off Ferox on Consulate because part of me just feels like maybe they've got some surprise that might help them stay in the game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, in terms of players to watch out for tonight, I know Warden has been a mainstay for Ferox for a long time, but he had a bit of a quiet first map, went 1-3 on his openings. And maybe we'd like to see him show up a bit more. If he can do that, might help out the rest of the team and get them kick-started here. It's Wildcard's map pick, our second map and final map in this series, and the final one for the night, Ferox versus Wildcard.
Gonna be interesting to see what the ban phase will bring for us, Dev. I'm sure Ying is probably going to be yet another ban. It seems to be the persistent one at the moment. Seen an actual lack of Thatcher bans for once, which honestly, that surprises me the most out of a lot of these ban phases.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Awesome.
All right, very nice. So, I mean, just to add to that conversation, that Thatcher is eventually banned on Consulate. So, yeah, I guess Ferox have some ideas there. I don't know, maybe we'll get to see more Maverick play. I know Wildcard, we talked a lot about Diesel on the Maverick and how it did take him quite a long time to open up those walls. So, maybe going for that bottom floor, with the Thatcher band, it'll force Wildcard on the Maverick. Maybe they'll be a bit slow. I don't know what the mentality is there, but I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yes, we will. And then Maestro Mirror rounding out those defense bans. The Maestro ban is actually quite a strong ban on Consulate. I mean, a lot of people lean towards banning Echo because that can require a little bit more coordination to scan out and clear if you bring IQ. But Maestro quite strong on Garage, especially. And that can be really frustrating to deal with because you already have so much with the Thatcher ban to deal with to get the wall open. And then, of course, you have to think about dealing with those Evil Eyes. So, yeah, a lot of teams opting just to ban that out. And I would say that's exactly what Wildcard's rationale was with that ban, as is probably their Ying, is they just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, smart maneuver there. But, of course, it does leave in that dangerous Echo we're going to have to worry about, as well as operators like the Kaid, which doesn't necessarily see a lot of banning, but both the Kaid and the Mute can be super useful, especially on that bottom floor when Thatcher is banned. Really can slow down that push. Now, we are going to Cafeteria first up. That Thatcher ban likely part of the reason. I do wonder where Shade will be placing a lot of these Mute Jammers, because there are lots of really good angles or positions that you can put your Mute Jammers that then activate through the floor and prevent this droning. And in fact, we see one of them deployed right now by Shade to cover off that yellow stairs and prevent that droning. You have a look near pipes, and Shade's going to go upstairs potentially to put some extra reinforcement. But we know Wildcard are a team that stall out. So this Mute Jammer, or these Mute Jammers, the play from the Mute Jammer, I guess it could help to just emphasize that stall factor for Wildcard.
I think that's really important for Ferox. It's just try and stall them out as much as possible. It seems to be pretty effective.
Out to locate a bomb and defuse it.
They have installed Depth Shot on the Pulse, gonna be good for that intel. Good operator to be playing on this, and I like the barricade use here over on Tellers. Not only a very minor stall, but of course a big sound cue.
Yeah, and
Very helpful. This
just
is an interesting bathroom strat.
yeah, I mean, this is very uncommon. I don't think I've ever seen a strat quite like this before. Usually you'll reinforce that wall that Todd's just been opening up. But, I mean, some mute jammers and a lot of rotation holes for Todd. Wildcard's going to have to spot this and deal with it, I suppose. And as you mentioned, those barricades on the east side near Visa and Tellus is going to slow down Wildcard's clear from that direction.
Excited actually, Dev. This is a really interesting strat. Definitely not as standard as a lot of the other Consulate strats that we do see, because of course this is one of the OG maps, which has gone through a lot of iterations of innovation, and it's good to still see some new strats coming out. See how Wildcard decide to deal with this. Realizing the buck a lot on Emo Rin, very classic Emo Rin as well. Almost half the rounds just completely disappeared from us.
I think, oh, hello. That's Todd trying to go for an aggressive peek. I'm not sure if that was the right decision. Imirin does make him pay for it. That mute jammer covering the yellow stairs does thwart that attempt at droning, and Diesel can't really push his drone in here either. I did mention that hard breach facet and the Maverick potentially being necessary. Diesel's going to have to get on his bike and go down and open that up as well. He'll need Emo Rin, though, to really help ensure that no one's hard contesting those holes. Oh, this could be a... Is that's concrete? Surely, yeah. I think you can go for that kill.
Like he's actually on the stairs, yeah. Geo on the stairs. Spotted out though by Depcha, pretty important. Questioning Todd's aggressive peak as the smoke. I think that's a little ill-advised so early in the round.
Especially because imagine if Todd was alive right now and just back on site. 30 seconds left, just a bit over with smoke and echo. That could delay the rest of the round in theory.
Sorry. A lot of action happening considering the fact that there's 25 seconds to go. Trade coming out. Now the action's going to start. Imorin, double kill. Means that wildcard 4 versus 2. Time ticking away though. Ever so important to consider. Sushi, the Echo, potentially still has Yokais to deny. Deptra is going to get into this gunfight. He is going to pick Geo. Means that wildcard have so much to do to stick this plan in this final 3 seconds.
No
Ethan
way.
yeeted beat to kill the Echo. Deptra doesn't quite make it to deny the plan. Ethan saves the round there in the nick of time.
Oh my god, Ethan so absolutely denying Ferox's opportunity to get that plant denial twice. He just hits him with the hey in chat. Hey. Hey.
What's up, guys? What's up?
Oh, damn. That was nuts. So, I mean, if Ethan hadn't got either of those kills, that plant 100% would have been stopped. So, this man is on fire tonight. On fire.
Unleashed is Ethan and Ferox. I mean, they're probably going to feel... I mean, they were in man disadvantage, but it seemed like, given the clock status, that round could have really comfortably been theirs. All it needed was that yokai denial. So yeah, that play from Ethan saving it for wildcard. And Ferox not wanting to repeat it, which I'm kind of surprised. Like, I thought their hold was pretty good. But yeah, move on. They're going to go top 4. See what wildcard has for this.
One of the things I really love about the lineup of operators that wildcards bring into the table here is this works for every single bomb site. Especially, and I'm looking at that Maverick, you know, so many teams will bring up Thermite or even a Hibana, and we saw both teams earlier tonight, Kanga and Elevate. Ooh, that's a nasty angle just there. Both Kanga and Elevate brought either the Hibana or the Thermite, and to be frank, I think Maverick has more versatile utility for the bomb sites you're attacking on this map. In terms of his primary gadget, you can open up that garage wall without too much trouble as long as you're pretty confident on the Maverick trick. And your grenades are so useful no matter what objective you're attacking. Denying shields, denying other utility. Just so versatile, and that's something that neither Hibana nor Thermite can burst.
Definitely agree there on the sentiment of their lineup being so versatile, and I think that's very much wildcard through and through. We see them do that a lot with their attack operator lineups, ensuring that they never have to be second guessing what site doesn't allow teams to play the mind games that you've seen
Attackers have located a bomb.
played really frequently with 6 picks, for example. Odd trying to hold this yellow stairs position, very important there, and Wildcard looking like they're doing this CEO push, so they're going to need to be taking this yellow.
Todd's going to hold on as long as he can. Shay there to potentially provide some extra or my discs. So this is a very classic way to cut off this yellow stairs position. You throw tons of projectiles to make sure he can't sit at that top yellow, and then you have someone repelling on the yellow or above the yellow skylight, and then another player repelling right here on the bathroom window. 3 players positioned to prevent this push, and someone potentially looking to file up from the bottom of the stairs, but Todd has so many smokes, he can just delay this for a very long time. Todd, a really A-grade Rainbow Six pro player here in our scene, showing his worth on this new team. And Deptra, an aggressive peek, takes down Pat on the roof. That's a nice one.
Yeah, Pat also been pretty informed for Wildcard. He was the other one up there with Ethan in terms of frag count on Clubhouse. Deptra poking his head around that corner, almost losing it to Imarin. Not quite though. Not going to dare to do it again, that's for sure. Into the final minute, Wildcard have some decent map control, but they still don't have that all-critical yellow. And Todd is actually right now just retaking it completely. This is going to be really tough. It's going to come down to maybe a little bit of a frag fight there on the yellow stairs, as he uses his final smoke babe as well. Really going to make it. Ooh, that's a nice frag.
Surely Deptra can heal him up, though. We've seen some amazing stim plays this week. Surely No way. Deptra dies too? Was he out of stims? He'd used all of them over-stimming himself, and now Wildcard can enter. What a blunder. 4 versus 3 now for Wildcard. They have the control that they were looking for, but can they move up from here?
Ethan again just going off. He's got the double kill. 3 versus 2 though, final 20 seconds. Wildcard struggling to actually give themselves time to get things done. Diesel is finally getting the plant down. Warden finds one. Ethan on a triple now. Could be facing a 4K, and he is going to have to get that because Warden has found Diesel in a 1 versus 1 situation.
2 incredibly prolific players here in the ANZ scene for Rainbow Six. Warden surely not going to stick that. He goes for the fight. 1 bullet from Ethan's rifle and Warden goes down. He's going to go below, takes a bit more damage. Warden's on it. Can he kill him with the ash charge? And he does! That's one way to do it in style. And Ethan clutches up the round with the 4K.
Ethan is just on fire tonight, Dev, and I think the key for Ferox here is just shoot Ethan in the head and maybe they'll get the round.
Oh man, it's certainly a necessity at the moment. Ethan is manhandling Ferox, and he has been all night.
They're going to continue their site rotations. They're going to go down to lobby press room, not wanting to re-attempt top floor either. And, I mean, both of those rounds, it's not like they haven't been close. Ferox have really looked into the final moment of these rounds, but they just haven't been able to secure it. And they're going to have to be careful because if they keep letting them slip away, then Wildcard could really run away with it.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Ferox yet to find their footing at all on any of these bomb sites, so they'll just keep on rotating through. Failure on Garage, failure on Console, now heading on over to Lobby, keeping in mind that they banned the Thatcher. Something that, I mean, I haven't really seen the lack of impact Wildcard at all.
Bomb located by attackers.
Now, Ethan 7-0. Jeez. If you look at the rest of his team, I mean, like, he almost literally is the one finding the frags over these 2 rounds.
I mean, if you look at the previous 2 rounds, right? Ferox 100% would have denied the diffuser unless Ethan ran through, killed the Echo with the Yokais, and also killed the Pulse who was about to deny that plant. And then, of course, in a 1v1 clutch, Ethan is the reason why Wildcard won the previous round. So, the only reason the scoreline looks anything like it does right now is because Ethan and his 7-0 personal record.
Yeah, very much so. Ferox going to be holding top floor there quite heavily. In fact, they've got 3 players up there if you count Sushi there on the yellow stairs. Wildcard, Swift to start to push yellow. And really electing to take the west side across. It's very in contrast to what we saw earlier in the night. Kanga, for example, they were very much an east across team on Consulate. And Warden's been tagged pretty heavy already. Whether it was a pre-fire or a straight-up engagement, didn't quite catch that. Going to affect how he plays out the rest of the round.
We've seen how much low HP can affect your chances. Warden, the very previous round, dies to an Ash charge. Wildcard are just tightening their grip here on the top floor. Imarin doing good work here on this rappel, cutting off all of these rotations. But the reinforcement from Team Ferox on the construction wall prevents Imarin getting a long angle all the way into the meeting room. Warden's so low on HP, has to be careful, and Ethan's pushed up aggressive. We know the man's on fire tonight. Spots out that Jaeger and he wants to take this fight. Couple pre-fires and there you go. See you later, Warden. This man is unstoppable.
Yeah, just drone straight into a mute jammer he saw though. I don't know.
Come on, give the
He's
man
just
some
looking
credit.
for
He's 8-0 at the moment. Maybe he drove his drone into the jammer deliberately just so that someone else has to drone for him and he can keep tapping heads.
Maybe that's the play. But yeah, look, Ethan, he's eaten 50 wheat bix this morning. He's had 6 cups of Milo. I don't know. He's jacked up for this game, and if Ferox don't watch themselves, he's going to be on track for a 20 bomb.
Oh, I would love to see it. Early days here, 2-0 for Wildcard, but Ethan keeps up his rampage. I don't see Ferox getting around. Joining up the bomb site now. Great progress made by Wildcard, and you can see Ferox really abandoning the bomb site with the exception of Todd, and every other player can have an opportunity to deny the plant. 2 Yokais and 2 C4s downstairs can be thrown up through the hatches. Final few seconds now. This C4 is going to go out, but Wildcard baited. Perfect play from Diesel. Sushi has a Yokai, and that's the plant going denied. But that's all the C4s remaining. Imarin finds one, and these players, Todd's going to peek on through. He finds Ethan, but Imarin gets the triple. Finally, the plant is denied. I don't know where that came from. I think that was Sushi above, and that's not the kill cam that we were really looking for. But Ferox do secure that round by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, they really fell through that. Pretty lucky to close it out, but Wildcard also, again, they're just letting the clock slip by. Not able to give themselves the time to focus on that plant. And it just means that Ferox just have that small window to deny the diffuser and they can get the rounds.
Well, at least that's one round under their belt, and at least that's one... Oh, actually, I'm not sure if Ethan actually died. Yeah, he did die that round, so poor man. It's on, like, what, 8-1? Terrible KD. Only 8.0.
Yeah, he might as well alter 4 now. It's over.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect speaks, Don, that's it. He got an assist, though. Does that count for anything?
It's like 0.5 of a kill, so yeah.
Alright.
He's 8.5 and 1.
Alright. I'm not going to do maths on live broadcast, though, because production have already proved to me that it doesn't work out well for me.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how that works out. Maybe what we should be talking about is how we can help you out a little bit, Dev, you know? So you don't have to worry about these kinds of things.
Well, please, I need to do some homework. I'll start doing my times tables. Alright, let's have a gander at Ferox's setup here. I'm a bit surprised by one particular reinforcement on the wall between Yellow and CEO. Just right in the northwest corner, if we can have a gaze over at that. In B, yeah, what's the purpose of this reinforcement on the left side wall? Typically you'd leave that open and put some holes in it so that a player on Yellow stairs can deny the plant. But I guess maybe they want to play someone potentially in the cubby, or they're trying to deny the angle from the Yellow window into CEO. Oh, I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah, I think it's just to deny that hold because when it came to post plant, it's also a strong angle to like reuse against. It also means that you can a little bit more comfortably play in CEO even if you use Yellow. But yeah, I don't know how effective it's going to be as a persistent reinforcement. Maybe just for one round as a counter it might work out. See how it goes. And again, I think it's going to be a big emphasis on just Todd delaying the take of Yellow Stairs as long as possible. I mean, he did a pretty good job last time. Wildcard didn't take it until that final, I think it was 30 or so seconds by the time they really took the spot.
A pretty essential component of Ferox's defense is also the castle barricade on the double door and CEO, protecting Deptra, who's going to keep on trying to support this player of Todd. Trying to catch that grenade. I think that is a grenade he just caught. No, it's a flashbang. Todd gets fully flashed. Diesel holding that frag out. He's going to throw it in. Deptra goes down, and Diesel throws that grenade straight onto Todd's face. Great job from Wildcard. 2 essential picks on those players who are holding top yellow, and they can take that ground following this as well.
Yeah, really beautifully executed by Wildcard. Can comfortably take Yellow Stairs. Now, Warden is lurking below, though, so this is going to be either an emphasis on just general flank watch or the use of these air jabs. One thing that's alarming for me, which I get frustrated about a lot, Yellow Stairs door, open it as soon as possible, because what Warden has just done, I mean, he's dead now, but what Warden did, he should never have been able to creep past that doorway. Even if you haven't taken yellow, I think you should always have tabs on that rotate in particular. And a defender shouldn't feel comfortable able to just run up past it.
Maybe they're a bit concerned about Warden trying to get an aggressive peek onto Diesel while he was throwing his grenades. I'm not quite sure, but oh, how did you win that, Ethan? I guess he just he wins those. He says, "Look, I'm not on double digits yet, but I want to be," and that's a flawless round. So hey, it happens. Wildcard are just running away with it. That lobby press room attack was just a little blip.
Yeah. And Ethan, being nuts, persists. We'll see. He's slowed down. He's slowed down a little bit last 2 rounds, though. Yeah, look, I think these attacks are pretty good from Wildcard, and that was a lot more efficient than the first time they attacked CEO. So that's also a little bit alarming because it shows that they're adapting pretty well to what Ferox is trying to dole out. I think that's a bit of a concern. They're going to be going to Garage, which again was run off the back of Ethan. Just reminding you, it's when he rushed the Echo and then just denied Deptra from stopping the plant.
Yeah, so again, on paper here, Ferox got very close to winning this defense, but they had quite a few opportunities now to retry it, but didn't feel game. Remember, this was also when they had that really strange setup thanks to Todd's deployable shield inside a bathroom on the 2nd floor here. Didn't see it be hugely impactful, but to be honest, I don't really remember having a look at any action going down around here at all. It looks like they will be going for that same setup. You can see Todd making this rotate hole around from benches over into the public.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds.
Oh, reinforcing the hatch. Did he do that last time? I think he did.
Yeah, pretty sure. And he had the the shield there, and he had the line of sight holes open towards the north side.
Oh, and then he got super aggro and died.
Yes, I think that was a terrible decision. For both the position he was playing, but also the fact that he's playing with smoke. I don't think, from memory, last time he even used any of his smoke babes.
No, and remember, Wildcard only barely were planting at the last moment. Ferox got very close to denying that. Warden finally nets something. Great job to him, and he gets a second. Ethan goes down. Good revenge there. Where were those peaks? There was 1 kill, though. Shade goes down. It's a lot of soft breach as well now gone from the Wildcard roster.
A bit of a concern for them. They're going to have to shoot out that wall. Because I guess Ethan and Emo would have been the allocated players to do so. Shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Just got to be careful for Diesel, though, because he doesn't have a lot of ammo. You can see only 3 mags left in the pocket, which, I mean, if you end up pre-firing a lot, you will run out.
Yeah, definitely could come back to buy them.
Oof.
Warden. He's on a big round. He's on the triple, so maybe in running for an ace here, he's got 2 to find. And even though Wildcard have been a little bit more efficient or speedy at opening this wall, they don't have much control, and Ferox feeling confident to peek. Warden forgetting that that door is open. Diesel finds another 2 versus 2. All of a sudden, Ferox maybe getting a little bit too ahead of themselves.
Todd doesn't think he's been droned. Still having those gas. These are the two perfect operators remaining for Ferox to deny this plant or delay this plant. Wildcard trying to just put a nomad charge at the back there. Nade's going to come out. This could really help out. And there you go. Todd goes down. A 2 versus 1. No doubt there's a lot of information still on the table for Sushi, but 45 seconds. You can't deny this plant forever. You can do it once, but no! Not even. Diesel gets off the plant and takes it out. Great ear there. You need to do it a second time. I mean, we're talking 30 seconds left on the clock. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even get there in time. Diesel's going to get a very, very comfortable post-plant position, and look at that. So the going to be very difficult. There's a post-plant drone as well, and yeah, this is over.
Yeah, it's definitely up there with one of, if not the hardest post-plant situation to try and retake as a defender. And that Kobe not going to come out, but Diesel will get the kill after it. It's a great round from Wildcard in the end, considering it was a 4 versus 2. I mean, Ferox should have just held on. Warden trying to get too aggressive, picking up yellow. Didn't see who the other player was in sight over peeking. But they just had to sit still. They just had to chill. And now all of a sudden Wildcard had found another round that they just shouldn't have had.
Too many opportunities given to Wildcard to even up that man count. Hats off to Diesel and Geo there for making that happen as well. It was not easy. Diesel's really been making good use of the Maverick kit. I know I was very critical, especially on Clubhouse, on that Maverick trick, but I mean, I relate. I know how difficult it is to make that happen, and he's been using the grenades to full effect as well, clearing out Todd in that case. Really good teamwork.
Attackers need to
A lot of patience as well for Wildcard, whereas Ferox, they seem to want to take these fights nice and early. Warden found, what, 3 kills in the first half of that round? I think it was.
Yeah.
Gonna head up to lobby again though. It's only bomb site they've actually successfully defended so far. Full reinforcements here on garage. Not super unusual, but it does make things a bit more difficult if Wildcard want to take control, push in from garage, this kind of thing you might see a solo player do, like Pat or Ethan.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, this is Wildcard's map pick. And Ferox probably, as a team that are a bit fresher in terms of their current lineup and the synergy issues that they would be grinding together, you would expect that maybe defense would be, I'm not going to say the easier half, but they would have some comfort on defense. And it's not like they've been super outplayed in some of these rounds. I mean, so many of them, they seem like they've been in it right until the end. That last round, one of them, I mean, they had the 4v2 advantage so early. It feels like they should have been able to close that out. But yeah, it really has just fallen by the wayside. And if Wildcard managed to get this, I just honestly don't see Ferox being able to bring it back in their attack half.
A bomb has been located.
I may or may not have been talking for the last 30 seconds while muted.
I was just thinking, I pinged you on Discord, I'm like, is Devin muted or like,
I thought you were pinging me because you wanted me to look at your garlic naan that your fiance made you.
No, unfortunately, that's not it.
Alright, can you tell her to make me some too next time? Thanks.
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure I do that.
So what I was saying is the reason why Ferox won this lobby defense the last time around, it was because they kept these players alive until very late in the round, who had the ability to delay and deny that plant. 2 C4s they kept on the bottom floor and Sushi as well until just the last moment. That really helped out to deny that plant and delay time for Wildcard. I'm cautious about Todd getting aggressive so early. Fortunately, managed to survive a bit longer, gets back to site, even low HP, because his utility is so essential for delaying that plant. And right now, Todd just I mean, he's been struggling. He's 1-5 at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of that comes down to, I think, him just constantly getting over-aggressive. We saw it when they were holding Garage in that first attempt, and he just tried to rush up yellow really early in the round and got fragged, and it's happened here again. I mean, at least he's alive. He's got the utility in this final 20 seconds to deny a plant, and Wildcard haven't given themselves, again, much time to get this execute.
15 seconds left.
There's 15 left. Diesel forcing that plant down. Baits out that C4 perfectly, but Sushi can also deny that. In fact, the Yokai drone drops all the way down to cafeteria. Frag's going in every which way. Ethan and Geo, the last people alive for
Run out of time.
Wildcard, but Ferox, they just came to keep this one going.
Yeah, I mean, again, Wildcard, they had 5 up in the final 30 seconds, but just didn't have enough control to do anything. That's almost, in a bad way, that's old Wildcard slipping through a little bit there. Just not finding the openings to allow them to have a better chance to plant later, but they're going to close out that half 4-2 for an attack half. Not too shabby, considering the fact that Ferox did actually have control for a couple of those rounds that Wildcard managed to steal. This definitely could have been a more Ferox-favored scoreline right now.
Yeah, I mean, remembering the first 2 rounds, which Ethan clutched up, essentially. So if Ethan hadn't managed those, then we could be looking at a 4-2 towards Ferox. But no, this is actually a pretty good half for Wildcard. I mean, they're going into their defenses now, where you'd think would be slightly more at home here on Consulate. Don't want to put anything past Ferox, though. In fact, I want to give props. I don't know whether... pretty sure it was Sushi playing the Echo last time. That Yokai drone, which was underneath the hatch in cafeteria, so between the lobby desk, it was open, and the Yokai drone was under it. And when he wanted to deny the plant, he would just zip up, deny the plant, and then drop back down again. So even if Wildcard know where their Echo drone is, they can't just shoot it and then move on. They have to wait for it to pop back up to shoot it again.
Pretty well executed there. What Wildcard have in store for us on their top floor hold? We're going to be on the Bucks. So it looks like Ferox were planning for some vertical play, whether he used that to much effect here or not. I mean, a great spot to use some vertical control is into that private bathroom to try and flush out the smoke player. It's going to be Diesel, of course. Classic Diesel on the smoke. Yellow stairs as well. Looks like Ferox are doing same push style as Wildcard to take CEO, which means that they are going to have to get this yellow control. And Diesel is such a proficient smoke player.
And he's got the Wamai to back him up as well. Ooh, where's that? Ethan gets a run out on Sushi. You see Deptra's a bit scared about that one. Where on earth is this man? No one's stopping him, so he gets back inside. At least it's utility maybe not so necessary. Ooh, a great opportunity there. Diesel gives himself to cross by smoking up that angle, and Deptra doesn't land any damage. In fact, just takes a bit. Diesel gets back on again. Deptra does spot him on the drone, so he can cover that again. He's going to use the exact same strategy, and he gets across safely. Most smoke players will use their smokes to deny the push-up yellow, but instead, Diesel's using it to deny this player on the window, and Ethan finds another one.
Yeah, it's really well played here from Wildcard. Some great teamwork. Enabling Ethan to just get these picks, and Diesel to just maintain these yellow stairs. I don't think Ferox are going to continue to push this, to be honest, because they just don't have any footing to do so. If they want to, they're just going to have to run straight up the stairs and try and take a heads-up gunfire, which is going to be tough. Orton's going to be on the connector window, just scoping it out, see if he can find any picks. Pre-firing private, but Diesel's not going to be in there. He's still top of yellow. Wildcard playing a really patient defense here, which isn't giving Ferox anything to go on, making it really tough for them to make more progress now in this final minute.
That for another Warden minute. Huge gamble and get on inside, man. How do you land that shot in the second, Warden? Going large here. 1 versus 2 now. 1 versus 1 for Warden. He's turned everything around. Doesn't have the diffuser though. He has to go back outside. It's Warden versus Ethan. Could we ask for a better matchup? Ethan still a C4 in the pocket. Warden completely out of frag grenades. Ethan knows time is on his side. Warden planning in a safe spot next to the reinforcement. Does Ethan have a call?
Attackers
I
activating.
don't think he has information now. It's a post-plant scenario. Warden with the ACOG. High damage weapon. Ethan with the MPX. But he's been so good at the safe. It does the job for him. Warden, that was a valiant effort, but Ethan is banging on in this game. 15 and 2 right now.
Bomb diffuser disabled by defenders.
Oh man, Ethan
Defenders
is
win.
just on fire. Just feels like everything he does is a golden play. I haven't been keeping track of how many multi-kill rounds Ethan's had. By multi-kill, I mean like at least 3 or more, but it feels like it's almost half of these rounds, Dev. He has just had a monster map so far, and it has really dragged Wildcard through this. I mean, Ferox have been not pushovers. They have had pretty good rounds. Warden brought this back fantastically. This repelling the connector to get these picks was insane. And to bring it to the 1v1, I mean, it really could have been Warden's post-plant. 5% chance to win. But Ethan.
Yeah, can't count Ethan out, can you? As I was saying, what was it? 13 and 2? 15 and something insane like that.
Defenders,
Ridiculous.
protect your bombs from being defused.
Pretty sure the only rounds Ethan has died, 14 and 2. Only rounds Ethan's died. The 2 rounds Ferox has won.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, and one of them I think he was spawn peaked. So
Yeah.
Oof, man.
And nuts. And I mean, hats off to Warden as well. The dude's going 11 and 6. And if you take a look at the rest of the scoreboard, his next teammate's on 3 kills. I mean, I don't want to make out like kills are everything, but sometimes you do just have to kind of put the team on your back as much as possible. And Warden's doing his darndest. Really got that. I'm not sure if it would have been an ace. I don't think it would have been an ace, but 4K clutch.
Attackers objective is
I mean, don't trust me to be counting aces or 4Ks or whatever.
Let's not go down that road again, hey? But you're right. Like, Siege is a tactical game, and of course, a lot of it comes down to adapting and being smart, making the right decision, all that kind of thing. But it's also an FPS. If you're not hitting your shots or you're not winning your gunfights, well, that's also going to be a bit of a detriment. And even though Wildcard, they have a bit of a kill share amongst the other team members, it kind of does feel like a bit of an Ethan versus Warden show on Consulate here. And coming down to that 1v1, you're right, it was so fitting that it was those two.
Emo wants to get himself on the scoreboard. Takes out Shade. Shade's been a really strong player historically for this Ferox roster, one of the OGs, but he struggled. Oh, wow, this is an interesting usage of the Maverick. Going for a vaultable hole rather than the full wall. Oh, and he's still... Okay, there's just a little bit left. Also a bit funny to me that he actually mav'd down the right side and the left side instead of just going one at the top, one at the bottom. He's going to use a lot of fuel, but I guess he has fuel available. Is he going to draw some pictures for us? Is this some kind of hieroglyphic thing that answers how the pyramids were built?
Yeah. I think that's what it is, Dev. You're right.
Nade coming out. Oh, that was such a good nade. Shame no one was in there. And Warden says, you know what, boys, I'm just going to send it. 1.5 minutes remaining, but Warden says, all right, guys, just hold my beer. I'm going to head on inside. Gets one injure, but gets a bit too greedy there. And Ethan, I mean, he's just going to polish him off. They get that revive as well, and Pat found one too. Plant does go down, though, so perhaps Warden did his job here. 2 versus 4 post-plant for Deptra and Sushi. One playing long, one playing close. But the fact that this wall hasn't been fully opened is going to make this so much more difficult for Dep and Sushi to cover.
Very much aware of Sushi's position at least, so they can just swarm onto him. Deptra, though, that's a nice swing in through yellow stairs. The time ticking away really fast here. Less than 20 seconds to go to try and get this counter defuse. It's 2 versus 1, all up to Deptra in piano. It's a strong position to be, and he's not going to be able to save it. Deptra,
No way.
beautiful play.
Oh! He's going to deny it with the concussion as well! And it doesn't even matter if you can defuse. He gets the hip by a pistol kill at the end. Lol.
Oh my god. I got so confused by that.
Deptra, my man!
What a round.
It's a roller coaster.
That was insane.
I mean, I really thought 2 versus 4 with the way that the garage was opened up so poorly, I guess, or just not completely. I thought 100% Wildcard were going to clutch that out. Really good job to Deptra.
I'm just thinking about that whole vault thing with the Maverick. I don't think there's really much benefit with that.
Defenders,
Like,
protect
it's
your
going to
bombs.
put you in a vault animation going in and out. You're a bit vulnerable. It makes post plant, I guess, a touch trickier because maybe a long arm is a little more possible. Yeah, really failing to find the pros in that.
I think the best thing about it is it makes it a bit easier to actually open up with the Maverick. Because sometimes going prone and opening up the prone level holes, if there's a defender prone, side white band, they can kind of shoot you. And I know there are ways around that. You can take control above and deny those positions at side white, or you can just be really vigilant with making sure you keep your legs in, and open up the wall at like a 45, 90 degree angle. But maybe some players just prefer to do a vaultable hole, so it keeps them a bit safer while they're mavericking it. Could be the reason, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Like, that makes sense. That it's just easier to do or safer to do. See if they do it again. Warden reprising his Maverick role. Ethan reprising his Jaeger role as well. He was the one to stop Warden trying to just leg it through sight.
Ooh, what is this? It's gonna be a rush strategy maybe. Nope. Just an interesting way to thermite open that wall. Ferox is ready to adapt, and Warden hears that Yokai drone. Shade might be able to take it out. Geo does get his Yokai back safer again. Hello, Todd.
Yeah, top floor clear. Ferox. Marin's the only one really in the vicinity. He just came up these stairs. Not sure whether they are intentionally hunting him or whether they just straight up getting that map control. Either way, spending a little bit of time. No engagements in that first minute. Much slower round than the previous one, that's for sure.
That's a pelt angle here for Warden. Just looking out for her head. Not likely to find anything, just looking for anyone peeking aggressively, but that's Geo in sight. Not eager to peek that, just using his Yokais. Playing some Game Boy. Smoke, just to deny that rush. Interesting choice from Diesel. Just wary, cautious of the play from Ferox. He gets Ethan to rotate into a position as well to deny any rush side white. What is Todd doing out here? He's looking to try and kill Pat, is he? Contesting all the way into public.
Yeah, just cutting his rotate out so that he's essentially stuck in there, but of course he can just drop the hatch if need be, so he will have to be hard pushed, otherwise he could sit here all day. Getting that nice peek over the top of the stall, looked like a bit of a task, but he got there. Basically, Wildcard could just sit in these positions all day. It's going to be down to Ferox to actually push it. Sushi has been at the wall with Diffuser for quite a while now. It looks like we're finally going to see some action as Warden enters. Hits some big shots, but doesn't get the pick and actually gets fragged out again by Ethan. Same situation.
Pat was cleared out upstairs, though. Ooh, and there's another one. A good pre-fire from Deptra. Finds two. Sushi forcing this plant down. The Yokai to deny, and he hides it as well. Good job from Geo. Last man standing. He knows he has to take some fights, though, here. 1 versus 4, but a cleanup crew comes through, and Todd to finish it off. Ferox, 2 straight rounds of attack onto the garage. Starting to look a lot better now that Ferox are on their attack.
Actually is, and I mean, like, I feel a bit bad. I felt like I wrote them off, and they're starting to do pretty well. Can't really pinpoint what exactly Wildcard is struggling with, though, because coming down to the final 30 seconds, Wildcard had all the right positions. They weren't being over-aggressive. It's just that Ferox are really hitting some important picks there, and it means that they're able to get these plants down.
They're going to retry Console now. It's the first bomb site they want on the top floor, and I guess Deptra's earned his Ash license now, had a couple good rounds.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being
A real big
defused by
change from the
attackers.
Zafir. He's gone positive. One of the few players on his team, in fact, going positive. Not that that makes all the difference, you know, it's not everything, but Ferox have started to put 2 and 2 together, started making things work. Todd and Shade did a really good job to clear out Pat without losing a player last round, who was roaming in the public bathroom, while the rest of Ferox really worked site. Anyhow, if we return to thinking about what happened the last time Wildcard won this round, it's a bit of a mess, really. I mean, Diesel delayed most of the round by playing on yellow stairs, and then Warden just kills 4 people. We'd pretty much written off Ferox before that happened, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Yeah. They weren't in a great position at all to close that round out, and Warden just said, you know what? I'm going to repel in through connector. I'll kill 3 guys. I'll plant guys. No problem. That's just not something you can rely on, really.
So,
Attackers have
did
located a bomb.
did your fiance actually make that naan bread, or did you like
Yeah.
buy it?
Freshly baked. So I
Oh my
have
God.
the aroma of freshly baked garlic naan right now.
I feel bad. I
Free
feel like I should just cast from now on, and you should just like eat that, because it's a crime to just let it sit there.
Bomb located
Speaking
by
of just
attackers.
sitting there, it's exactly what Diesel's been doing a lot with this yellow stairs. Back and forth, and he's never been properly flushed out. But oh, that's an aggressive push that's worked out so well from Ferox. And I feel like that's really just what they've done. I think that epitomizes it. They've just gotten extra aggressive and not been hesitant. And look at what it's netted them.
It's good control. We've got private bathroom and yellow stairs, but the player who was on top of yellow, looking through the skylight to cut off that rotation, was taken out by Ethan. Now he does have a C4, potentially information on site. Could deny plant if Shade risks the swing. That long angle is being contested by Geo here. All the way onto the window. So ambitious, but he gets the 1 tap! That's not something you get to see every day, is it?
Oh, that was an absolute delete moment there from Geo. Ethan still running around below. He got stimmed up by Geo. Have much more comfort in his next gunfight. Sushi deciding not safe enough to repel in. He's going to drop down. I'm going to rethink this. They do still have control of yellow. Very important, but certain assurances they will need before they can push through for a plant. One of those is definitely going to be figuring out where Ethan is playing and whether he's going to be sticking, staying below, or whether he might be looking to flank.
On top of worrying about Ethan, you still have to worry about Geo, and look how confident he is contesting this long angle. Deptra's just so low on HP now, doesn't even have the ACOG to contest this, and a very unorthodox set of angles that Geo's using, particularly all the way onto the B-bomb. He spots out the thermite on the cross. He can call that out to Ethan, but the C4 misses. Sushi gonna try and get this plant down within a few moments. Deptra still, he's the man to cover, but he's so low on HP. Geo's keen to take this one. Remember, we are still in a 3v3.
15 seconds remaining.
Sushi's still not planting. He doesn't have an opportunity to get this. Todd takes down Ethan downstairs. Suddenly it's a 3-on-1. What can Emo do? Now he's got top yellow. Can push through. Can't even take out Todd. And he's finished off Ferox. Yet another attack round.
3 in a row now, Dev, that they've strung together. And again, it just came down to some really aggressive play. That swing in on yellow and private simultaneously was a fantastic maneuver. I mean, Diesel couldn't have played yellow stairs more perfectly the first time that Wildcard held this. And he was looking like it was going to be comfortable again for him, but I liked that adaptation. And here we are, Ferox. They've tied it up, 5-5. Similar fashion to Clubhouse. Saw it get tied up at 5-5.
Yeah, very much so. And all the more impressive that this is Wildcard's map pick and Ferox is showing up as they are. Still, it did take him a while. And it's console meeting room defense once again.
Attackers need to locate
Wonder
and
whether
defuse
Wildcard will
bomb.
sit with the same setup. Looks like they will. Geo's still on that dock, likely to be contesting that very long angle. Wonder what Wildcard have identified here that they need to fix. Perhaps it was simply just Diesel. He was repelled in on. The double repel. One player, it was Deptra, came in through Private and Todd repelled in through the yellow window. And I think there was also potentially a concussion or a flash that perhaps masked the sound, and Diesel found it quite difficult to make that happen.
10 seconds left.
I really hope the curry shop is open after this cast, because I really want to get some naan bread now.
I'll just send you some if you want. I'm sure
Oh
I'll
yeah,
get that.
cheers.
Yeah.
Objective is to locate a bomb and defuse.
Freshly baked interstate sent posted. Australia Post.
Bread doesn't go stale, right? So there's no problem. Yeah, I like that Wildcard have decided to stick this again because I don't think you can always get a consistent result on what Ferox did to clear Diesel out. And they've changed things up. They've got Geo sitting there to hold a crossfire or cover in the private stall. Not going to be at all as comfortable or possible for Ferox to do so. And that means they're back at square one. They have to readapt and figure out a way to clear out yellow. And Diesel has proven time and time again he is not an easy player to clear out from that spot.
Infamous smoke player from Australia is Diesel. Really feeling the pump with all this utility thrown in, but Todd, that's just stun grenades. Doesn't have the frags that Bok used to. You can see how much more keyed in Wildcard is here. Very aware, but Shade does drone out that Doc player. Drone, in fact, still there. Heavy investment from Wildcard. Push from below. Geo has to get out of dodge. Heals himself up a little bit. Ethan, nowhere to be seen right now. Deptra looking like he's tempted to make this repel in.
I feel like in the back of their minds they're thinking about it. Well, it worked last time, let's just do it. But things have changed. Wildcard have adapted to that. Geo playing a tough position. It's a matter of centimeters, that position where your shoulder could be exposed to the CEO windows. But oh, we're seeing a rotate from Ferox. And Ethan's rotating to counter that.
Surely Ethan heard that run outside. I think he's aware that Shade is out there. A little bit sus at least, and perhaps it's an abandon of the yellow stairs. Diesel's still sitting pretty. No gas babes left, however.
No, but it's all a tough position to try and clear out. He's got the shotgun. He gets repelled in on behind, though. Maybe not hearing it. There were some gunshots happening at the time, so Todd done well again to clear it. But Sushi gets down from below. Diffuser is recovered. Geo finds one. Oh, another to Geo. It's a 4 versus 2. Looking good for Wildcard now. They have a man advantage and only 40 seconds left for Ferox to recover something.
Despite losing that opening pick, Wildcard have recovered here. Special mention to Geo for retaking yellow stairs on the dock there. Shade pushing him from the other side, but his flank isn't actually completely clear. You see Ethan rotating. Emorin catches off Shade. Has no info on the Jaeger. All on wood, and we've hyped him up so far, but it's a tall ask. Looks like Wildcard liable to break away here. And of course it's going to be Ethan to do it. Man's sitting on whatever kills right now, and he just wants every single last one of them.
Yep, and it feels like there's been so many rounds now in this half especially where Ethan has been the one to kill Warden. Bit of a,
or vice versa.
A rivalry. Yeah, totally vice versa. So definitely a rivalry between those two at the moment. Yeah, Ethan continues the dominance. On track for a 20 bomb, but if they win this round, it's his only chance to finish it off. It is match point now for Wildcard.
What at the start really didn't feel like a close game has definitely ended up to be just that. And I really like these adaptations. A lot of people talk about Wildcard being so good at counter-stratting, but it's not just coming into the game knowing how your enemy's going to play and counter-stratting that, because I'm going to double-check my prep sheet here, but Consulate, these guys haven't, Ferox being, they haven't played it since January, so there's not actually a lot of VODs for Wildcard to go off, but they're making up for that by having these mid-game adaptations. They lose a round, the 2 players repelling in and killing Diesel, and they fix that. Albeit, Todd does repel in and kill Diesel again, but Geo's there to support, and so was Pat. 18 kills, 18 and 5, plus 13 KD right now for Ethan. Oh man. Like you were saying, he's drunk 6 cups of Milo today and had however many Weet-Bix for breakfast.
10 seconds remaining.
I really hope he gets at least a 2K this round.
Me too. I really want to see him get into 20. Definitely possible. I mean, wow, if we go to overtime,
Attackers are moving to
100% possible at that stage.
Oh yeah. And he's more than 2 KPR at the moment. What are you doing, Pat? If you want to get it on the windowsill, make a bigger hole in the barricade. Nope, he's not sure what he wants to do. It's a nice little strategy though to put leisure mines on windowsills. It means anyone repelling on it, if they detonate that goo mine, they have to get off the repel in order to pull it out.
Yeah, and with the changes to Legion, I mean, not taking damage until the first tick, that's pretty helpful because it means they do take damage. Yeah, Wildcard, vertical roam again. Nothing too dramatic from them in these setups, honestly. What standard for this one at least. Pat playing yellow. We saw Diesel over in meeting. Ferox gonna have to get that map control, so push it out somehow. Looks like it's from CEO's side, but Geo will get the opening pick on Warden. It's an important pick, in fact, as Warden has, of course, been the high impact player for Ferox.
And of course, it's Geo. Give this man an ACOG, and he'll delete anyone. Oh, but there you go. There is that eventual trade from Shade. It did take a while, but it's an essential kill, especially being that those Yokais are now out of play for the rest of the round. Shade looks so tempted to just repel in, but surely that's not a possibility here.
I don't know, it seems to be the strat for Ferox on a lot of these attacks that have worked out well for them is let's just repel in. It's really been the linchpin for about all three of their attack wins. Regardless, Sushi worried about that jump out top. Ethan alive is always going to be worried about things like those jump outs and run outs because he's been very keen to do so. He's actually going to sit very comfortable here in antechamber. Sushi does pick off Imarin, so Ferox giving themselves man advantage here, and they've got a minute to go. This could be them pushing for overtime.
Ferox looking very good now. 4 on 3, Pat low HP. Like you said, Ethan's still alive. He needs a 2k to make this a 20 bomb. 45 seconds for that to happen. Otherwise, Team Ferox is looking to make this overtime, and this is going to be the repel in. Surely Ethan makes this work. He spots one player, does secure the injure, but not the kill. No doubt that Zafia is going to repel in within a few moments as well, pushing in through the lobby. Surely Ethan can find this. No! It gets denied. Pat as well, though, to finish off Todd. Just 2 players left, and Diesel from above has the smoke. This looks so good. For Wildcard, 20 seconds left.
Just needs the intel to be able to deny the plant from above. Pings are coming out. He seems pretty set. Those holes are made. The IQ looking for whatever is pinging them out. As Deptre is going to get the plants. A nice shot from Shade. Getting the triple for the round and post-plant situation. Diesel above, but this is going to be a difficult retake. No! Potentially a free kill, but he misses it on the reload. We're going to overtime now, Dev, on this map.
Oh, heart in my throat as well. Deptra and who was the other player there? Just to close it out at the last minute. So close, and an impressive result. Did not think that would be possible, and man, Ethan got so close to denying that repel in, but a great push in from whichever player it was who pushed through the lobby really helped to make that happen. And Ferox, like we've been saying, sometimes it is just a go for broke moment to repel in. That's the strategy, but it does work, and they're bringing the utility to complement it with the Capitao. At least they did in that round.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan was there to deny the repel in, and he pretty much did his job, but the thing about that is it diverted his attention from lobby. So that player from lobby just ran through, got the refrag, and it meant that Ferox were able to get that control of site. So regardless, that repel really was that linchpin maneuver that freed things up. Wildcard are going to be on defense for the majority of overtime if we get to play all 3 rounds. So far, it's actually been an attacker-sided map.
Yeah, it has actually. What? 4 attacks, 1 per half, so yeah, very nice. I want to talk about the Capitao for a moment though. Sushi made really good use of it to help Ethan secure that, prevent Ethan from securing that kill onto the player who repelled in. Really give extra cover, but I have a feeling that this Capitao is going to be even more useful for clearing out the yellow stairs, and that's what Ferox have just consistently struggled with. perhaps that is the answer, but they do have to keep in mind, Pat on the Wamai, those discs can be used to counter those Capital incendiary bolts. In fact, it is Pat laying down a few of these. 2 to start with. No doubt Ferox will try and clear this out with some stuns. But if Pat's there and ready to throw an extra one down at any moment, that could really help.
Bomb located by attackers.
The interesting thing about that magnet placement as well is it actually creates more arrow denial. So if a fire arrow goes through, it's going to fall to the ground and it's going to deny a rush up yellow. So Diesel can essentially use that as an additional smoke grenade. Really could come back to bite Ferox if they aren't careful with those magnets. I don't think their repelling strat is really going to work out another time here. I think Wildcard, surely, as good as adapting as they are going to be ready for that.
Well, Wildcard did win the last time this site was played, especially thanks to Geo being able to retake yellow. Sushi's going to jump on this repel. He's the man with the incendiary bolts, but Wildcard are giving no opportunity for Ferox to drone this out, and that's really what they need right now, just that information. Is that a smoke babe, I think? Oh, Geo is taken out. There you go. Warden, I think that was a repel from Con. Does finish off that player. Excellent work, and that's certainly going to help out. And where are we sitting? Emarin downstairs. Ethan as well. Just Pat and Diesel on side at the moment, really stacking towards that yellow side. Half the round done. Ethan absolutely put under the pump here as Diesel. But still, he's alive.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing, is that he's still alive. They're putting so much time and utility again to clearing out Diesel, but it's just not happening anytime soon, at least. Playing it very well. Private bathroom here at the end of the final minute. Ferox are just dedicating so much time and utility to this. It has to be successful. Otherwise, it really is going to come down to just last-ditch effort to try and salvage the round.
You see Ferox are getting desperate, pre-firing through that floor, just trying to find that player in bathroom, the Diesel. Intangible. Imran and Ethan still downstairs, so an opportunity to deny this, but finally that control is taken and Todd's good for 2. He's done so much here on yellow stairs, but Ethan gets that refrag with the C4. 2 players left against 4. 20 seconds left, no C4 to deny the plant.
It's like they've got the intel. Ethan's definitely got the sound. Repel's gonna come in now. See whether they can get this plant down as Ethan's trying to creep up and get the angle, but he's spotted. Downed now, and it's gonna be all up to Emarin, but it's not to be. Ferox move to match point now, Dev, in overtime.
This is on Wildcard's map pick, and Ferox coming back from a 4-2 deficit on the first half, and now for the very first time on match points. Wildcard, the pressure is mounting. They managed to lock out their last week's games when we thought they might draw, get the 2-0 against Sinister, but here against Ferox, they're starting to stumble. In this attacker-sided game, they will have to secure an attack round and then finally win one more defense to lock this map out. But for the underdog's perspective, Ferox really putting their name out there right now.
They have played fantastically in the second half of this map. And just looking at my tracking stats now, of the last 6 rounds, Wildcard's only won 1 of them. It's been a massive effort from Ferox. On top of that, I totally recall that a lot of the rounds that Wildcard won were so close. Ferox had actually done really well in those rounds and really could have gone their way. So overall, I kind of feel like Ferox have controlled this map and that they could have won it in regulation. One thing that's a little concerning though is that they've chosen Garage, and in their defense half, they didn't win it.
Yeah, in fact, the only bomb site they won was Lobby Press, so
yeah,
I'm not sure what the play is here, what the idea is. Are they really so confident they can finally make this happen? But as you mentioned, they did get so close on many of their defenses, and time again, Wildcard seemed to steal around, just thanks to someone, namely Ethan, going nice and aggressive and getting a nice clutch up. And it happened on both this bottom floor and the top floor defenses for Ferox.
All right, well, this is it. Wildcard. If they want a chance to another map win, they have to win this round at least to force it to the final round. Shade wanting to get this aggressive peak. This classic Ferox and classic Shade right there. Whether he's able to find something. He's trying to time it. Maybe even trying to time a C4 here to see if he can get a pick. Somebody covering.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's the play here. C4 onto Diesel is the hope. Player does a couple love taps. As a C4, surely that's not going to find anything. Airball. Diesel sitting pretty. Still trying to open up this wall. I'm not sure. I do question the Bandit pick. Perhaps a Valkyrie would have been better. You still get that C4, and look, those Bandit batteries had no impact on Diesel getting that wall open.
I agree with you there, Dev. It's like Ethan getting a little impatient, wanting to push in through yellow stairs, maybe just trying to bait a peek from the top. He's very much aware that there's pressure there in the Z hallway. Wheel around and just take some pot shots through the windows and try and just prevent a retake from that position. But this is, again, Wildcard stalled out at the wall now. They've got it open, but every single one of them is outside from what I could tell from the outlines.
A bomb has been
They really don't have that meaningful map control.
Yeah, very much. This is very unusual. So typically you see players take control of piano and start to use the vertical play to remove these anchors, but nonetheless, Pat does find the very lit up Warden eventually. 1 minute left, and it's the thing we get so worried about with Wildcard is their time management, but Ethan, he's hungry. He's found one, looking for a pre-fire through the wall, and he gets two on the rounds. 47 seconds left. That smoke babe is going to force Ethan out. Make him take a breather.
Oh, there is a denial coming out there with the Yokai drone. They've given themselves a bit of time with plant. Smoke babes being wasted here. Ethan with another. He's on a triple on the round, Dev. Imorin finds the final above it. Actually ended up being a flawless round. And again, Garage lost for Ferox will mean final round of overtime. And the third 8-7 of the week for us.
And while we might have scolded Wildcard for being pretty slow there, the round ended with 30-odd seconds still left on the clock. That was really thanks to those defining picks from Ethan there. 3 of them plus. We talked about that map control, meaningful map control, and that potential for the vertical play, which wasn't realized previously in the first 2 minutes of that round. Wildcard rotated the Bok player, Imorin, straight up. Did that perfectly in time. And that got the final kill as well. And yeah, you're right. This is the third 8-7 of our week, man. It's a good time to be casting some Six Masters.
Yeah, they've been great matches. Really have. The Wildcard go to lobby, and they only tried to defend lobby once, and they lost it. Yeah, it was that last one. So, I mean, yeah, it got a little bit close, but I think Ferox seemed to be in control for that round. Ethan almost opened it up, but yeah, didn't look as close as some of the others. So, again, I'm curious about some of these picks on sites for overtime, but oh, let's see what happens.
Again, it was the rappel that ended up working for Ferox. Managed to get into piano, and perhaps Wildcard seem confident that they can open more holes in the floor from above, with which they can use to deny that plan. And here is a great potential Valkyrie camera. Oh no! The cactus just makes this camera pretty cactus, to be honest. Unfortunate there. Doesn't see the piano windows, which is really what Ethan needs information on. Gonna still see what he can do with it as well. It does likely spot Detra out there. Warden also, I think that's a drone in piano, surely. Ferox really forming up around that northwest side. Pretty far roam at the moment, all over the place. Wildcard, they really need to focus on this plant style. That's why they brought so many good operators for it. Likely 2 C4s in this lineup, 3 gas babes, echo drones, Goyo shields is nighttime.
Detra fighting with death there. He's
Oh.
out the window. Ethan again, just everywhere, finding these frags. I'm pretty sure that's number 23. In fact, Diesel will hold on to meeting as that is the pressure alleviated. means he's going to spend more time opening holes to deny from above. And if Ferox never push this out, going to have very little chance to try and plant. Bobby.
Push in from Sushi though, good control. Warden's in as well, but his Goyo shields make him vulnerable on those holes to the floor. There's no pressure from the repel. Gives Emo in that nice and easy kill. He spots out 2 more players in there. He'll call that out to the team and say that Gio's getting rushed in bathroom. Ferox have suddenly retaken sight. Pat's good for 1. Pat's good for 2. 3 on 1 now, all up to Shade. The entire map, this incredibly valiant effort from Ferox, and it all comes down to this. And the clutch that Shade is looking for. 1 versus 2 now. 2 kills on the round, needs to look for this 4K. Another Yokai drone taken out. Information inside of Piano. 1 minute left, lots of time to play with, but holes in the floor above him he needs to be cautious of. Pat's already found 2 kills so far. Taking on, trying to take this 1v1. He nearly gets it, and he does! A 1v1 to finish the map. Imorin drops and drops Ferox's hopes and dreams. It took 15 rounds, but Wildcard secure their map pick.
Oh man, what a map in the end, Dev, and it came down to a 1v1, I think very fitting. And actually, I think that's the third 8-7 1v1 for the week that it's ended. Unbelievable. And speaking of unbelievable, Ethan's map, 23 and 8. That is huge.
And something you brought up in our text chat is, do we know what the record is for the most individual frags in an online comp game with OT? I don't know.
I don't know either. I know it's 20-something, but I can't remember if it's like... I had 22 in my mind, but part of me also thinks it's maybe 24 or 25. Either way, it's close. That's how good that effort from Ethan is that's actually really close to that record.
There have been some really, really good performances from Wildcard, from Ethan, from Warden, so many close rounds, and even to Shade there, who hadn't had a great map, hadn't had a great series, to pull that back into a 1v1 from a 1v3, it was nuts. And I mean, as for a ruling on whether that's one of the or the, I don't think it would be the most kills in an online comp game, but probably one of. And I'm sure that the Reddit analysts out there are going to correct us and make sure that we're aware of it. I'm sure that the players know what the records are because they're the ones who are trying to break them. But hold on, 23 kills in a single game. Ethan, what?
Yeah. And I don't like saying this, but I really feel like Ethan somewhat carried Wildcard for a lot of that game. There were some rounds where they just never should have won. I mean, we talked about the early game where he got 2 rounds consecutively, looked very much like it was going to be Ferox. But Ethan just comes out of nowhere, gets a couple of picks, and it really changed the tide. And that was a recurring thing. And it was the same case for Ferox for a little while with Warden, but either way, Wildcard struggled for a lot of those rounds to get something happening. And Ethan used the bar, the shaker. But yeah, I think a lot of credit should probably go to Ethan for that map win.
Yeah. Oh, a grueling effort. And you saw Diesel's comment in the chat. Right when Emo secured the final kill, it was, geez. And oh my god, I'm thinking, we can go to sleep now? I mean, these guys have been in an intense overdrive mode for hours now. And I think Wildcard going into that map, surely they would have expected Consulate not to be that difficult. That's crazy. Woof. Insane.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. And I mean, the first map was close too. It ended up being 7-5 in the end. So really good effort from Ferox. And I wouldn't say Wildcard played particularly poor. We saw a lot of adaptation coming out of Wildcard, some really great team play. There was a lot good on the side of Wildcard as well. I think just general, that was a really great series of ANZ Siege between 2 good teams.
Oh yeah, you've got to credit Ferox for taking it that far. Let's go chat to Warden, who popped off all night for Ferox. Hey Warden, man, that was an intense series. You individually had a crazy performance. I just want to know what it feels like after playing 15 rounds on Consulate, playing your heart out like that.
Pretty disappointing end, but it was a fun series. I think we did pretty well. Like at the end, honestly, we just couldn't shut down Ethan. He just played absolutely insane.
Yeah, it seemed like no matter what you guys were doing and no matter what Wildcard was doing, Ethan was just nuts, and of course that makes it hard. I want to ask you, on the second map, Wildcard had a bit of a streak after the first half, and then they even won the first round of that second half. You guys were down 5-2. Was there anything that switched within the team to really start that comeback?
Not really. We knew like a lot of the rounds that we lost just came down to simply just losing the picks early and them getting the man advantage and just capitalizing on like the 5v3 on side or whatever it was at the time. So we just thought we'd just play a bit more safe at the same time being a bit more aggro towards like the end of the round, and it started to work.
Yeah, I mean, a really incredible effort from the team. A lot of players, I think, stepped up, you included. There was that crazy, almost 1v4 clutch that you made happen. That had me on the end of my seat, mate. We're actually got you coming on this Friday night, me and Raven, onto Late Night Siege, which I'm really excited about. We're going to go through, which was it, Mute and Theme Park?
Yeah, that's correct.
Perfect. I'm really excited for that. So I want to say thanks for promising to come along for that. And I think you deserve a break. So, you know, take some time, go to sleep, whatever. But I want to say before we lose you here, anyone you want to go and thank, Ferox, who this is your second, I believe, official game representing those guys, and all your fans out there. There was quite a few of them that supported you guys in the Twitter poll. Anything you want to say to them?
Thanks for sort of sticking with us. I'm glad we could put on a bit of a show. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but always next week. And yeah, hopefully you tune in.
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt with the way you guys have played tonight that you guys are going to make ripples throughout the ANZ scene in the coming weeks. Thanks for playing tonight. You did amazing. We'll see you on Friday night.
Thanks. See you then.
Really great to see how gung-ho and optimistic Warden was after that game. I know it was disappointing, but that man just looks like he was totally chill.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of positives for Ferox out of that. I remember last week when we interviewed them, they were a bit disappointed they didn't get more points against Knights, and they just acknowledged that it's still a bit of a building phase for them with this new lineup, and things are always going to be a little bit sketchy. But they were quite consistent tonight. I mean, the 7-5 on Clubhouse was quite close, and then, I mean, that couldn't have been any closer to the 8-7 on Consulate. And honestly, I really felt like if you were to give me like a meter, I felt like the meter would have been a little bit in favor of Ferox in terms of the total control over all of those rounds. Yeah,
a lot of those rounds were just won by, let's say, Ethan going off, especially in the attacking half, the first half that we saw. Nuts. And so you got to really give credit to Ferox there. But let's talk about Wildcard for a minute. We thought that maybe last week was finally part of that road to redemption, showing that Wildcard is still be one of those top teams. Do we feel like that is just continuing on now? Do we feel like we have even more validation?
Yes and no. I mean, it shows that they've got some consistency, but it also shows that maybe they're not quite as dominant as they used to be yet. They managed to scrape through with those points, but yeah, I guess there's still a little bit of convincing on my end because, I mean, they've got some harder opponents that are still yet to come in Six Masters. I think that's going to be the real true test.
Yeah, well, it's definitely an entertaining game. Let's get some insight from the coach of Wildcard, Silex. Hey, Silex, man, you look knackered and you didn't even play the game. I mean, it's one thing to be stressful playing the game. What was it like just being the silent observer watching that go down?
Hey guys, so I can hear the comms and I'm just thinking, okay, is it a 5v4 now? 5v3? Oh, sweet, 5v2. Then next minute we lose the round. I'm like, oh, what? So yeah, it's quite stressful just sitting in the back and listening to the comms and trying to figure out what's going on. But yeah, watching Clubhouse, like we had opening frag and I don't know, so many times, and then the match got so close. Same with Consulate. Boys played really well. Same with Ferox. Yeah, got to give them props as well.
Yeah, I think the question on a lot of people's minds is, what have you guys been feeding Ethan?
Just his Wheat Bix and Vegemite, man. Like, what did he drop today? 39 frags over 12 plus 15, 27 rounds. Just
something like that.
Another day in the office.
Yeah. Yeah, just casually. Look, Ethan was a total showstopper tonight. I guess I want to ask about the mindset on Consulate being the overtime, and then it was just so back and forth. But also, you guys lost a lot of consecutive rounds in that second half. Was there anything that started shifting that really became more of a struggle?
So we had some pretty good success with our CEO hold to begin with. We held Yellow Stairs fine. And then Todd on Buck decides to just flash in, repel in, kill Diesel like 3 rounds in a row. That wasn't very fun. Our garage defense we lost twice in a row. So after that, had to decide to switch that up. Didn't go there again. So we went to lobby. I think we should have won the first time we went to lobby and actually closed it out in regulation. But yeah, just a bit unfortunate with that round. Took lobby in the final round of overtime and yeah, managed to just get that 1v1 with Emo winning it for us in the end. Thanks, Emo.
Yeah, I mean, he knows how to put on a show, but he also knows how to make my heart race. Well, no. All right. So, I mean, there's been a long period, I think, where a lot of people have been wondering what's the deal with Wildcard. I know it's been a really difficult last 9 months or so with the team. You guys have reached new heights. You went to Tokoname, but I know that there were still issues prevalent through that entire time. Went to 6 Invitational, really struggled. You guys want to be that world-class team. You know you can be. And finally, we're starting to see those results creep up. There's been people who have been supporting you that whole time. Wildcard, Griff, and the rest of the org have been supporting you the whole time. This is your opportunity. I'm going to give you the mic and you can say what you will.
Well, yeah, to all the fans out there who've stuck with us through thick and thin, got to say thank you. Can't get enough of your support. We love every one of you, and we really appreciate it. So without you, we'd be like, I wouldn't say nobodies, but like pretty close to nobodies. But yeah, thanks for being behind us all the way. We hope to continue our winning streak in 6 Masters, and yeah, back to you guys.
All right, Silex. Well, good luck in your game next week. Really well done today. You and the boys deserve some rest, so we'll see you next week.
Yeah, it's sleep time. Later, guys.
Good night, dude.
See ya. So, Silex got that guitar in the background, or was it a bass? I got this one over here, and you've got the keyboard. Is this maybe the start of something here?
Yeah, I'm feeling R6 band, ANZ, let's go.
Oh yeah, I'm keen for it. But man, no, that was really nice to talk to Silex, and what was really funny is hearing him say that he's listening to the team comms and he's got no clue whether it's a 5v5 or a 1v1, and he's just completely bewildered.
Yeah, sometimes it actually is a nightmare as a coach where you don't have the up-to-date stream because of course it's on delay, so all you have is the comms. You're just, like, the amount of times I was just listening to comms and I just had my head in my hands, my eyes closed, trying to figure out what's going on. Like, it's pretty stressful, especially matches like that. So yeah, totally sympathize with him, and you could tell he sounded pretty exhausted.
Oh, my heart goes out to coaches everywhere for the heart attacks they have while trying to listen to team comms. Let's have a look at the heart attacks that we witnessed today. In the schedule, we had Elevate and Kanga. A good game, but a pretty convincing one for Elevate. And then Wildcard against Ferox. That scoreline by no means is representative of how that game went.
No, that Wildcard Ferox game was super close, as we just saw. So 2-0 not very representative, but I think the 2-0 is quite fitting for Elevate Kanga, because Elevate, wow, they showed up today.
We'll see whether they can continue that and meet everyone's expectations in the coming weeks. Let's have a look at where these teams are falling now that all our 8 teams in the Pro League, or rather the 6 Masters, have played 4 matches thus far. Wildcard sitting proudly at the top spot, undefeated thus far, followed by TBD and Elevate. And this is actually looking to be potentially very close to where we might end up.
I was just thinking that. Yeah, I mean, so far the top 4 that I've expected and the bottom 4 I've expected have started to pull together. Still a few changes for what I'm thinking, but I mean, it's getting very close there in the top 3 already. Only 1 match really separating them. Yeah, and that bottom, I mean, there's still going to be some changes there. Ferox and LFO, I think, is going to be a really interesting tussle in that 5th, 6th section.
Yeah, I mean, if you move up Elevate 1 or 2 spots, I think that's where I'm going to predict this entire season is going to end up. I'm kind of expecting TBD, Elevate, Sinister, Wildcard to end up in those top 4 playoff spots, but who knows? We've seen amazing things from LFO and even Ferox tonight, really stepping it up. And I'm sure that one day Spruce is going to pick up the Kanga boys and they'll go for have a good trip, and we'll see some good games from them as well. I mean, talking about overall the standings, is there any particular team you want to highlight?
It's hard. I mean, I think there's just so many teams that have really provided some highlights and some really interesting points in Six Masters in these past 2 weeks. I feel like I could shine a spotlight on almost any of them. One thing I'm excited about next week is that there's the Sinister Elevate matchup. I think that's probably going to be one of the games of the weeks next week because Sinister have just been on the rise. Elevate have been at the top. They had that one rough week last week, but they've brought back some strength this week. I think it's kind of a bit of a boss fight for Sinister, so to speak, to prove that they have really elevated their gameplay.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I mean, the elevate pun I accidentally did earlier today, and then I didn't even notice when you deliberately did it. So let's just admit it, I'm a lost cause. Look, I mean, to be frank, like I think that we've seen a lot of things that we wouldn't have expected, like the LFO upset over Elevate, and we've also seen things that I think are starting to fall in line with maybe some of the things we've been hoping for, some of the things we've been preempting for a while, like Ethan just going off, Wildcard and Elevate coming in and really being comfortable. There are a lot of questions still unanswered though, so we're going to have to wait in the coming weeks. We got 7, each of these teams going to play 7 matches, so that's 14 play days for us. And, you know, it's only the tip of the iceberg so far.
It really is, and I just saw in the ticker that we're asking who you think your MVP of the series was, but even the week, like I would love to hear on socials what everyone thinks about these outstanding performances, because so many players, especially tonight, there were so many massive individual efforts. We had Red earlier in particular for Elevate, and of course Ethan for Wildcard, Warden for Ferox. It's yeah, it's been a really, really interesting Six Masters.
Yeah, it's been fantastic so far. It's a treat, and week on week is just going to get more and more intense. But maybe to chill out a little bit in the meanwhile, while you're waiting for next week's Six Masters, come and join me and Raven and Warden this Friday night for Late Night Siege. We're going to be chatting about Mute, which we've seen picked almost every round so far tonight. It really is lovely operator, so great. If you want to learn some tips on how to play Mute, come along with us. If you want to learn a little bit about Theme Park, we're going to be putting the spotlight on there. Warden's going to be showing us some pro tips as well. I'm going to be diving into Warden as his history with Ferox and other teams as a professional player. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just going to be some chill late night vibes as we love it here in ANZ. So make sure you tune in on Friday at 8 p.m. Sydney time. That's AEST. And yeah, we'll have a couple games. It'll be fun. But until then, that is all for the Six Masters for tonight. We'll see you on Friday, Late Night Siege and Six Masters next week. Until then, stay safe and take care. Good night.
No pulse and no alarm. Time's not kind and it won't let go. No thoughts left in my head. My mind's not mine and it won't forget. But you bring me back from my darkness black. Cause the soul in me and the heart I am feel. It bleeds for you, it bleeds again. Oh, you bring me to life. 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 Bring me to life.